Yeah, possibly.
Let me know when it does, and I'll see if it's
Right. Okay, we're live now, guys. So,
too easy.
all right.
Kick it off.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Football Matters live watch of the big match between Hungary and one of the favourites, France. I'm your host, Faz, and as always, I'm joined by the boys, Jules, Brendan, and Josh. So, boys, how are we, first of all?
Good.
Yeah.
Just here in the Gold Coast on holidays, as you can hear in the background. But looking forward. This game's going to be good. I honestly think. I know France are favourites, but Hungary, dark horse going in. Like Hungary's not a bad side. They've got a good keeper too. I like their keeper. But yeah, as you can see at the bottom, Hungary's not really a bad side. Orban's a good player. Um, the number 9, I can't say his name. Sajala, he's decent. But
Yeah.
obviously, France are always a powerhouse, so it's going to be interesting watch.
Yeah, no, of course, I agree. So I think before we get into that, firstly, just want to just say a huge thank you and a big hello to all our new followers out there. We had a fair few jump on board today, so hopefully everyone gets involved as much as they can. It'd be great. But yeah, I agree with what you said, Josh. I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I fully expect France to do the business, to be honest. But getting to watch some of their stars live, I mean, that's a pretty good opportunity for us who might not get to see them as regularly when they're playing their club football. So I guess so I'll read the lineups out first, and then we can have a little bit of discussion of what we think about their lineup. So we'll start with Hungary. Now I gotta be honest, I'm not too familiar with a lot of their players, to be fair, but a few stand out. But we've got yeah, you have to help me out with pronunciations, boys. But was it Gulaski in goals?
He's good.
Yeah, Gulaski. He's got Botka, Orban, and Schlesley, and obviously they're playing three centre backs. So they're obviously playing 5 at the back.
I think.
Yeah, with Nego and Fiola as like the wing backs, which is a pretty I think that's a pretty safe bet against France, like going that more defensive route. Yeah, those strong wingers, Schaefer, Nagai, and can't quite pronounce it. Nagy, and then the other bloke.
I had a girl that went to my school with that surname was pronounced Nagy.
Yeah, Nagy. So yeah, that's that's great. And obviously up front they got another Shazalai and Salahi. But
they're making it hard for us, aren't they?
Oh mate, I tell you what, these
said ALAI is Zalai.
Yeah, well these football names, but then we obviously go and look at the French team and mate, it's a star-studded lineup. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah, star-studded lineup. So we've got Lloris obviously in goals, Pavard, Varane, was it Kimbepe and how you say it? Digne, yeah, from Everton.
So, he's good.
Yeah, no,
he's best left back in the league besides Luke Shaw last year, I think.
And I find him probably a little bit underrated, to be honest. Just because he plays for Everton, so he's probably a little bit underrated. And then we look at the that midfield with Pogba and Kante, Rabiot and Griezmann as that attacking player, and look no further than Mbappe and Benzema. So I think don't want to go too harsh too early, but that's a star-studded French lineup.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm just gonna charge my phone.
No worries. So I guess do they have a weakness? Do France have a weakness? So I'll start with you, Brendan. What do you think? Do they have a weakness?
Goalkeeper, he does like World Cup final. Big mistake in that. Does tend to make mistakes. But I think with Varane in front of him, Varane might be one of the best in the world behind this season. He's so good. I watched him last week against Germany. Every time they put it through, cut it out. Like Lloris didn't have to put the one.
Fucking joking.
He's that.
Yeah.
Look, I think honestly, I'd like to see Kunde. Kunde is not
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Jules, do you want to add in? Do you think France have a weakness or?
For a game against Hungary, probably not.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think you're right.
I think it's
I
like a
think.
convincing 2-0, 3-0 win.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. So,
I
but
don't know if that was, I was hungry. They played with a lot of heart, man. And the whole back Germany to score.
yeah.
Took an own goal to score against Germany. Play the way they played the last time I watched them. France, lucky. I think it could be a 0-0. I honestly do.
Yeah. Well, I think you know, I think Hungary, they've come into the tournament in relatively good form. So like they dispatch teams like San Marino, Andorra, and Cyprus. And really, if you want to be playing the Euros, you've got to be beating those teams anyway. But honestly, the 3-0 loss to Portugal in the first game, it's not as bad as it looks on paper, to be honest. I mean, for the best part of 80, 85 minutes, it looked like they were going to get a draw. But Portugal banged on 3 late. So, but I don't think it was a 3-0 game, to be honest. I think they probably
Can I
deserved.
just ask, what do we think of yeah? Did anybody see that game? What do we think of Gallucci's goalkeeping in that game? No, world class.
Oh, world
I
class,
think like 2
absolutely.
years
That's
ago tournament.
he kept them in it.
Yeah, and that's why I
those
think that,
goals were unsavable.
yeah, that 3-0 scoreline, I think, is a bit harsh on them. But now, speaking of good form, I mean France. So I just saw this little stat that came across my desk today. So they haven't actually conceded a goal since their 1-1 draw against Ukraine a few months ago. And we all know what they've got going forward. With Mbappe, Benzema, Griezmann, Pogba, Kante. I mean, if they're keeping clean sheets, obviously cup football. The aim is not to lose, but they're keeping clean sheets. They're not gonna, they could go all the way because they've got a world class attacking lineup. So to keep those clean sheets, and I think as well that 1-0 against Germany. I mean that was a really strong clean sheet.
I got to admit though that what gets me for France and I think he's a bit watching him in the Premier League he's a bit hit and miss is Hugo Lloris. I watch him in the Premier League and I don't rate him as a keeper, but it may be him. I haven't watched France. I'm guessing it's that defense because that's a really good defense. But I think Hugo Lloris has the ability to go missing a lot. And I think that's if France don't win the tournament, I think it would be not his fault, but I think he's the one weakness France have.
Yeah, and we spoke about that about being a weakness that they might have, and a really good segue there, Josh, about big name players going missing. Harry Kane this morning, a very forgettable match, England versus Scotland. So talk to me. What are we thinking? We could start with Harry Kane because I'm telling you now, surely you got to go Calvert-Lewin next game. Thoughts, Brendan?
Yeah, true. Cheers, Luke. Yes.
Can almost hear Brendan. I really can't.
Yeah, you're a bit quiet there, Brendan. Sorry.
For me, I can't see Southgate dropping Kane.
Yeah.
Because he's the captain of England. I know he's not the only captain that captains club level, but Southgate just wouldn't do something that old and great.
Yeah, I think it'd be a huge statement and something probably unheard of or unseen if Southgate was to drop Kane. But the thoughts on Southgate's performance, I guess, as manager does come into question. We spoke briefly. How can Sancho not be coming off the bench? How come? There's so many questions. Why did Sterling stay on? Why did why did Foden go off? Why didn't just endless questions. So I'll start with you, Jules. What do you think is the biggest question mark at the moment with Southgate and England?
Just the general, why is he still in a position? I mean, he's been their manager, I think, closing in on 5 years now. And other than like a relatively like he won in the World Cup, he's not really done much to prove that he's really the man for the job, especially with the ridiculous level of talent they have.
Yeah.
Like this is almost like I don't want to get like too far ahead of myself, but this is almost comparable to that sort of quote golden generation of the early 2000s that they had, where there was sort of a prediction that they'd probably win a trophy, which they obviously didn't, but there was that prediction that they would. This group of talent, like although it's relatively young, I think is almost comparable to that level of talent from back then. And the fact you're getting these really terrible performances when Southgate's been manager for 5 years just makes you wonder why he's still the manager.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I probably would have dropped him even before. Like, I mean, it was probably hard to sort of get a new manager and sort of adjust to the system, but I would have dropped him even before you wait for Euro. Because even going in, you're really just going in thinking, with this group of talent, is Southgate really going to get a trophy out of him? So I'm thinking his position's on thin ice.
Well, I agree. I think you could probably. It's probably clutching at straws here, but could you say maybe it's 2 years too early for this group? Maybe come the World Cup, there
are a lot of like. I mean, I'll just look at sort of the average age of the players, but there is a lot of like sort of under 25 players, so you have to consider that. UEFA Euro squads.
So yeah,
What got me though, I made a point to Brendan earlier when we were talking. Sorry, couldn't hear you, but is that Dean Henderson for United got injured and he brings in Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale is a lousy goalkeeper. The guy's been relegated. He's played in 2 relegation teams 2 years in a row. That's saying something. You know, you've got Ben Foster, who's probably the most informed England goalkeeper at the moment. There's Darren Reynolds Irish, but there's a few. Nick Pope's backup, the young kid who used to be at Leeds. I'm trying to think of other. Even Joe Hart, as a third choice. Aaron, for me, I don't rate Ramsdale. Again, he's played in Bournemouth. When he played at Bournemouth, they got relegated. He played at Sheffield Wednesday, they got relegated. You know,
to be fair, he's covered for Henderson because he's injured.
I get it, but why not pick somebody else?
Well, who else is there? I don't have how many England goalkeepers are there in the Premier League?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying though. But Ben Foster's in great form. I don't care if the guy's 100.
Yeah,
well, the fact that Ramsdale's making the squad, it shows the lack of goalkeeping depth in England, I suppose.
True.
Which is
another point we can talk about too tonight.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with the whole. Is age really an issue when it comes to cup football? And the reality is, I don't think it is. I mean, you're having a look at some of the players who are playing well. I know it's an easy option.
Yeah.
Well, Ronaldo, for example, as well. Like they just, when it comes to cup football, there's doesn't matter what your birth certificate says. You're
even Ibrahimovic on that point. Like he was selected in this. He came out of retirement because of his great form for Milan. He was selected in the Sweden squad. Then he got injured. But it would have been good to see him in this tournament at 41, 40. And so I think it was Sir Alex. Made a good point 1 year, and I remember this point. And it stands for both international and club football. More club, but still international. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, but I think it stands by as well, and you can use Foden in that regards. Is if you're good enough, you're young. You're good enough, you're old enough, and it's also if you're good enough, you're young enough. As far as I know, the good enough, you're old enough is Foden, but if you're good enough, you're young enough. It does, if you're you're a 35-year-old bloke running around. If you can still do it, then at cup football, that's what's important. Yes, the 38 game season, 2-3 games a week, yeah, maybe not. But the cup football, when it's a real quick round robin crash hot tournament, they're the types of players you need, I think.
What you mentioned in age is correct. Matt, this part I'm getting into is more about club football, but you look at Cavani for United. Nobody wanted him when he got delisted. I'm sure you would have had him at West Ham, but no Champions League club wanted him because he was old. Comes into United, and he was basically the difference maker for United this year.
The X factor.
Went down.
No, 100%.
But we do have a comment.
Yeah, we got great question from one of our really big fans in Mitch. So hey Mitch, thanks for jumping on. So g'day fellas, great to hear some great chat again. Great chat, that might be a bit debatable sometimes, but so who's your favourite to win it? And keep up the good form. So thanks Mitch, and keep following. So who's your favourite to win it? So we'll go around. We'll start with we're halfway through the the group stage at the moment, and we've obviously just had kickoff in the Hungary France game, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we'll go around. So, so Brendan, who's your favourite to win it from this point? Do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, Belgium were impressive.
Yeah, fix your mic, bro.
I've tried, Josh. There's nothing I can do, man.
Oh, there you go. Got it. I got it.
This is so Belgium really impressive.
Geez, that's a big crowd.
The fact that they didn't even start De Bruyne or Hazard.
Yeah.
Both off one. Like, just De Bruyne is a cheat code. Honestly, he is.
Yeah,
I just interrupt you for a second, Brendan. I gotta hand it to Hungary. They've come out physical. Yeah, they're not letting the Griezmanns and the Mbappes get the ball. They've come out physical there. 2 massive hits in that's the type of rugby shit you're seeing.
Yeah, I was just going to make that comment. They're looking at these superstar players and say you're gonna have to do it dirty today, boys. And I think that's a really good attitude to have from what you'd call a minnow team. You got to do it dirty. So we'll keep going around to answer Mitch's questions. So we'll go to you, Bob.
Yeah, obviously everyone knows I want Slovakia to win. Go Slovakia. But for me, after seeing everything, I can't put my money past Holland. You know, Dumfries has surprised me, which we'll get into our next point after Jules talks and Faz talks. Dumfries is, I think I saw a stat, he's scored 3 goals, which doesn't sound like much, but he's the leading scorer in the league at the moment. I think all of or 90% of Holland's goals, which someone checked the stat for me. I don't know how many goals they've scored this tournament so far, but he's assisted from the right back position, and I don't know where he's at. He's at do you know where he's at, Brendan? What club? Ajax, isn't it? He's not at some very big club, and I feel like he can use this tournament. I didn't know of him, and I play Football Manager. I didn't know of him before this tournament. Yeah. I feel like these tournaments are good for players like that, like Isak, which can lead into another point as well we'll speak about soon. But I feel like these tournaments are for these type of players to get their name out there, you know. I feel like Dumfries, we'll start seeing some interest in Dumfries from the likes of maybe not United or Liverpool, but the likes of, say, Newcastle, maybe West Ham, as a backup to Kufal, you know.
Yeah, so Dumfries is at PSV.
PSV, yeah. So it's not really a big club.
Yeah, and he's playing sort of that left wing back role, and I agree. And I did see the stats. So out of all the goals they've scored, he hasn't been involved in one, only one. So he's been involved in every single one he's scored or assisted. So yeah, I like the look of Holland. I reckon they go far. So
I do have to say quickly before Jules speaks, I like that how there's a player that's not really, he's known but not really well known, like Pogba's or Mbappe's or Ronaldo's, that's actually getting his name out there. You know, like I mentioned stream earlier, I don't know which one it was. These tournaments are good for players to get their names out there. You had look at James in the 2014 World Cup. You had the Mexican keeper Ochoa. Ochoa in the World Cup. You know, Chilean Robin dived. He had a clean sheet. So that's why I like these tournaments. You know, you can see players, and plus it gives me players I can sign on Football Manager. So
yeah, good one. All right, Jules. So your favourite to win it halfway through the group stages so far? Who are you liking?
I haven't really watched many games. I can only go by sort of what the results online. I'd say either Netherlands or Belgium.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I mean, who else is
what do you
really
like about those teams?
Sorry.
What impresses you?
Well, I haven't watched either of the games. I'm just going by the results online.
Yeah.
Because other than the watch-alongs, I haven't really watched any games of the UEFA era. So I can't, like, Italy's won 2 games so far, but like, what are they? Okay, they've won both games 3-0, but they've beaten relatively unconvincing teams. So are they really a favourite?
On that point, I did see a stat. I swear I saw a stat earlier that Italy haven't conceded or haven't lost a game in so long. And I do rate this Italy team too. They do look good, considering they didn't make the World Cup a few years ago.
Yeah, to me, Italy. I'm gonna keep my powder a little dry when it comes to Italy. I'd like to see them. Just see them a little bit more. It's impressive, and I know we've got heaps of Italian fans out there. It's impressive, and keep up the good work. But we're talking about a team who couldn't make the last World Cup, right? So I'm not being funny. I'm not being rude, but let's just wait. Let's just keep the powder dry. For me, I can't go past Belgium. But I tell you what, maybe it's just because they're on right now. I know the up against, but I think if France can get a really good win here, I think they're going to be tough to beat as well. Like if they can. I mean, I'm a bit old-fashioned being a centre back myself. To me, if you can keep clean sheets, I don't really trust teams winning 3-2s, 2-1s. I don't trust teams like that because if you're conceding goals, it only takes one cheap goal and you're going to lose. To me, I trust the teams that keep the clean sheets. I trust the teams that France keeping clean sheets. They're the teams I trust. And in cup football, again, you don't concede, you're not going to lose. So I think, for me at the moment, it's France. But hey, that could change in 24 hours. Yeah.
That gets onto that quote too. As a coach, when Brendan and I used to coach, we used to install this a lot. And I swear, I don't know, it might have been Sir Alex, I'm not sure, but everyone's heard this quote. Defense wins championships, attacking wins games, defense wins championships or trophies.
And I think that's that fact has never been truer. It's great to be attacking, it's great to be fantastic, but sometimes you don't have your kicking boots on. Sometimes you can, you just can't get to the ball. And then at the other end, sometimes you can concede a worldie. But if you're consistent at the back, goalkeeper, your back four, back five, if you're consistent, more often than not, you're going to be a successful team. So
on that too, it's like unless obviously you're united with De Gea. That guy's a shambles at the moment. I love De Gea. You can ask BJ; he's my favourite player ever. But unless you're united with De Gea, if you can force it to a penalty shootout, you have a 50-50 chance of winning.
Yeah, no, of course, and you look at the teams. The group stage is one thing, but you look at the teams. I think that a team like Hungary, they'd be hungry to get a point today. So, but I reckon that they look for that, and if you can nick a couple of draws and a win, you get out of your group, and then anything can happen. But I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Speaking of that, underdog status, what do we think about Slovakia at the moment? Everybody knows I wanted Slovakia to win.
Yeah, great.
If they get, I think I looked at it. If they get a point, they qualify or something. I think it is.
Yeah, I was just going over again the notes that come across my desk, and it said Slovakia. So let's have a little bit of a chat about them. You're right. They're 500 to 1 at the start of the tournament. They get a draw. Yeah. Well, gamble responsibly. They've been impressive. I mean, they had that good win against Poland, and obviously the loss. Who they lose to? They lost to Spain.
Lost to Sweden.
Lost to Sweden.
They haven't actually played Spain. They play them on the 23rd.
Yeah, so they lost to Sweden. Yeah, to me that's going to be. So if they get a point against Spain, Spain's another one of those teams where I just don't know if I can trust them yet. If they're good enough to get a point from Spain, then they deserve to go out of their group.
Spain don't look that good though. Like in all fairness,
nah.
Spain were once a powerhouse. To me, I think
average team.
Spain in this tournament are basically Italy in the World Cup. I'm surprised they qualified.
Yeah, and I mean,
not who they once were. Fair.
They're a far cry of that superstar team that we all knew a few years ago. Did you see the sitter Murata missed?
Murata missing a sitter, that's a different story. Holy shit!
Yeah. To be fair, that gets back to with Slovakia. So go Jules. Sorry.
I was just making a joke. I think missing sitters is Murata's middle name.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, well, you're right.
He did that religiously.
And then you've got Werner as well, who's just as bad. But yeah, the thing with me is it gets back to that point we raised before with Slovakia. They don't really have a dominant goal scorer as such. They've got they're basically a defensive team. And you look against Poland, they had to rely on a clean own goal by the keeper to get through. But it gets back to our point that Faz and I were raising.
I'll just stop you there, Josh. We've got a free kick here. We just had a free kick from Hungary outside the box. Crossed in there. Great defensive work, and now it's going to be a corner. So
it's like a fair bit so far in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, Hungary have been dominating this game.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed what they've brought to the table here, Hungary. So let's have a look at this corner. He's going to whip it in. That's a good ball. That's good keeping, good ball. Yeah.
Well done, Lewis.
Happy with that,
Keeping, yeah.
Lloris. Clean hands, clean gloves. We like it. So,
think that's
sorry,
Southampton.
sorry, Bobby. Keep
No,
going with what you were saying.
no, you're cool. But yeah, it's like what we said. Like Slovakia, when I watched them, I've only watched one game, and when I look at their lineup, like I know a lot of players, even from like Croatia and Czech Republic and that. They don't really have an out and out attacker. Whereas, but they're more relying on defensive. They did score a goal, and then they scored the own goal, which was by Chesney. So
Yeah, well,
that's
they got
that point. Like,
they got Hamsik in there, who's obviously world class.
yeah, not a striker as such. They don't really have an
no,
attack.
but he creates that. Does create?
True.
Yeah.
And on that too, like I wanted to raise this point. Whereas, so you look at the lower teams: Hungary, Sweden, Slovakia. Not Poland, they've got Lewandowski, but Finland. Even I don't rate
Yeah.
Pukki, but the
Timo
one
Pukki's
team
right.
I see there, yeah, but the one team I see, not in world football, team I see there that's the best out of them for me, the one I rate the most is Sweden. Because Sweden, compared to those teams, has what those teams don't have, which is an out and out goal scorer in Isak.
Yeah.
Which gets to our next
Yes.
point, which Faz can raise our next point too about Isak and Daka, whatever his name is.
Yeah. So we've spoken about the transfers and the rumours with Liverpool being linked to Daka and Isak. Now we're talking about two relatively, I don't know, under the radar type players, but the thing is when your name starts getting linked to Liverpool, that starts pricking the ears up a little bit. So what do we think? If you were Jurgen, who are you going to take, Daka or Isak? And tell me why as well, because I think you could mount a case for both.
Brendan loves Daka.
Yeah, so let's hear, Brendan. What do you think? You start with you.
Who I think will fit Liverpool's play style best would be Daka because he's quick.
Yeah.
Extremely quick. Isak isn't slow, but he's tall, so he's not the quickest. And if you look,
he's a target.
It's all about pace on the counter, like with Mane, Salah. Basically, it's those two running in. Firmino's not the quickest either, which is why he's never really with them as far as at like level. So I think Jurgen wants to bring in someone that can keep up on the speed of Mane and Salah.
Yeah,
so
I think
if he wants to do that, Daka's the way to go.
Yeah, I think Isak would be good
and
for.
Harris Ruiz not scored that. Oh
Yeah.
my days, Gulachi, you were a beast.
Yeah, that's a great save. So
Ooh.
just a thing. It's a great through ball here, and then great strike.
Yeah, what a save. I'm delayed a bit. That's a great double save.
Yeah,
I told
double.
you this keeper's good, didn't I? This
That's a
keeper
double.
kept him in the game against the other guys, whatever team it was.
That's a ripper double save, and again, it's going to take something pretty special. We know France have special players, but it's going to take something special for them to break them down here, especially with the goalkeeper like that.
I just want to ask quickly before we get back, what are your guys? So obviously, I loved Mbappe, right? After seeing that dive he did against Wales when the commentator went off on him, I kind of lost a lot of respect for him. Like, obviously, we know diving's part of the game, but the way that he did it before too, like he got literally scraped and he just went. Even then, like I don't know if that was him, but he just went down.
Yeah, he goes down easily.
I love Mbappe. That's why I rate Haaland better than Mbappe, because Haaland could get two dudes dragging him down in a rugby tackle and he won't go down. You know?
Yeah, and we mentioned that in one of the last streams about Mbappe being that way. We've got another. I will just finish this chat about Daka and Isak first, and then we've got a couple of questions. So we agreed that Daka's quite quick. Isak, I think he'd be like a better option for a team who plays, crossing football rather than maybe like a, dare I say it, like a West Ham or something. Here we go. Maybe like a West Ham, but yeah. So does anyone else want to add into the Daka and Isak?
Well, we can go. Jules, he's a Liverpool fan. See who he'd rather.
I don't know anything about either one of them.
Okay, if you had to pick a striker, so Jurgen Klopp's system, so Isak's more of a target, more of a fast Cavani, or you've got Daka, who's more of like a Martial, for example, for United, more of a fast.
Eto's a fair comparison to Daka.
Yeah.
Eto. Or you've got an Eto or you've got a Zlatan. Who would you rather?
I never really watched that.
Fit Liverpool system, Zlatan or Drogba?
Drogba, I guess.
Drogba. Yeah, so Daka. Hudson
Then again,
Daka is
I don't
more
think
like
either.
Drogba.
We usually play like wide forwards, not like a central striker. Like even Drogba probably wouldn't fit our system. Like prime Drogba probably wouldn't fit our system.
Where's
Yeah.
Bobby Firmino play?
Fabinho plays as a false nine. He's more of a link-up player. He's not a good. He's
So
not really
yeah,
a
so
prolific
more
scorer.
Daka, for example. Daka's more of that type of player. He's like the Martial. He can play wing, he can play up front, compared to Isak, who's more just an out-and-out Zlatan
Yeah,
type.
Daka will probably fit our system if he's playing as like probably a false nine.
Yeah.
I do have to put it. What about So one we haven't spoken about is I keep forgetting his name. He's at the team Haaland came from. He's a young German kid. I'll think of it. I'll look it up and then I'll come back into the stream.
Yeah.
I reckon he would suit
You mean Red
Liverpool
Bull
too.
Salzburg? You come from Red Bull
Yeah,
Salzburg.
he's there. He's some young German kid. But
Well,
I'll think of it. I'll bring it back.
Whilst you're thinking about that, we've just got another question here from Mitch. Boys, any updates on Ericsson? Hope he is doing well. Great question, Mitch. Obviously, we all hope and pray that he is doing well. From what I'm hearing, he is up and about. He's healthy. He's better. Obviously, he's not going to be playing. But he's that's a great cross. Oh,
Mbappe must got
Mbappe.
that.
Yeah, I think Mbappe. I think Mbappe needs to do better there, just quietly. I think So we've got the cross coming in, and free header. You've got to hit the target. In my opinion, you've got to hit the target from there.
Haaland would have buried
Fair
that.
enough.
Rises world class player. You have to hit the target from there. So Mitch. So great question. It's nice to hear your concerns for Ericsson, but yeah, I do believe he is okay. I do believe that he is up and about, but obviously won't be playing football for a little while. So fantastic there. Having a look. We spoke about Daka and Isak. Does anyone else have any transfer news or rumours that they've thought about or heard?
I don't really Oh, sorry, Brendan.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said there, Brendan.
Yeah, sorry. I think 29 million euros.
Yeah, sorry, Brendan. You're just cutting in and out a bit, so yeah, it's a bit hard to hear. So yeah, I'm not too sure who you're talking about there. But I think the one I wanted to bring up again. Sorry, Brendan, and if you can maybe get it working. But the one I wanted to bring up is Sancho. The question I've got is he not playing under Southgate because he's not playing in England? Do we think that could be a possibility?
Yeah, maybe.
And I think I mean it might be too simplistic to say, and I hope this is not the case, but maybe Southgate just doesn't rate him or doesn't watch him. I don't know. Like, yeah.
That kind of speaks to his sort of that he's not really cut for the job, because if you're the manager of a national team, you have to kind of know the ins and outs of every player that you're selecting, and you have to have a reason for selecting them. Like if he has seen Sancho perform but doesn't see him as someone who can get into England's team over, say, Sterling, for example, or Rashford, then I just wonder why he's even been selected.
Yeah, I mean,
is he selected purely just for depth reasons? Like if a couple of guys get injured, he comes in. But you also have to look at the fact that although Bundesliga is not Premier League level, he's gotten a lot of goals and assists in that league. And yeah, difference in league, but still.
Yeah, I think he has to come to the Premier League, to be honest. Yeah, I think he will.
I don't like the idea of every English player just playing in the Premier League. Like, it just seems weird to me that every English player ends up going either they stay in the Premier League or they go back to the Premier League if they've been playing overseas. Like, I'd actually like to see it go the other way. Like, see other English players play abroad.
Yeah, well, I guess in that point, there's a lot of things to raise there. I mean, obviously each club has to have a certain amount of English players on their list. So if you're going to have
it's like 35%.
So if you're going to have an English player, you may as well have a good one. And also, I mean, it's the best league in the world. So if you want to play in the best league in the world, you play in England, and obviously they, it's their home country. But I do get what you're saying. It would be interesting to see. Mbappe, another chance. It would be interesting to see more English players move. But yeah, I do like the romance around
You see,
them
the
playing.
Germans and the Italians and the Spanish, their players just play all over the place.
Yeah, and I guess the reason for it would be again because I guess because again the Premier League is probably the best league in the world. So if you want to,
League, like you'll see, like say Spanish players playing in Bundesliga, or you'll see French players playing in Serie A. Like you'll see things like that.
yeah, and I think that's a good point, and
But it's when it comes to England, you just see the English players staying in England. It just seems bizarre.
Yeah. I guess I can't make
On
a
that
comment.
point, just quickly, we're gonna start seeing more English players because now that England's left Brexit, it's going to be a lot harder for them. All the players all the players like Kufal and all that are Cavani and all that are already in England before they left Brexit are easier to get, but it's going to be a lot harder for we're going to see we should see a lot more young English players, young Welsh, Northern Ireland, all the UK countries. You should see a lot of those young players now coming through, more academies, more Fodens, hopefully, better chance because of that situation. So although Brexit for us football manager players is a pain in the ass, it's better for the world, in terms of England, Scotland, all their players,
Yeah, and I think the other point is you look at like the Bundesliga and in France and Italy and all that. Like I think those leagues are obviously quite. I mean, they're quite similar, and you do hear the saying is if you want to cut your mustard, you've got to prove it in the Premier League. I think that's. And then maybe that's just a bias thing that we tell ourselves.
I don't like
but
that saying either, because how many World Cup and Champions League winners have not played in the Premier League?
That's the argument I always have.
If you look at Spain's 2010 World Cup squad, which you consider like one of the greatest World Cup squads ever, I think like half, if even that, of their first 11 were Premier League players or have ever played in the Premier League. I mean, Villa was never in the Premier League. Messi, well, hang on, I'm thinking of Spanish players. David Villa was never in the Premier League. Xavi was never in the Premier League. Iniesta was never in the Premier League. I don't think Busquets played in the Premier League.
That was a different time, though, Jules.
For a few years.
Yeah.
Look at the standard of the English league, of the Spanish leagues now. Like, it used to be a two-team competition. Barcelona, Real Madrid didn't even do well this year, so those competitions are declining. Yes, I know. Whereas, the Premier League's going up. And I don't think
the Premier League's up. The Premier League's football in general is going down. I don't think the Premier League's going up at all.
I would
going up when like Leicester's almost finishing in the Champions League.
Well, I would argue that because the last two seasons the Champions League finalists have been English teams, so that would say that England's the best team. Now, just whilst I think this is really this is a great conversation, but we need to go to the match here, and Hungarian players actually gone down.
No, it's Pogba.
Is it Pogba? Yeah, well, they're having a cooling break.
He got fouled. He looked nasty too.
But someone is down. Yeah, they are taking the cooling break, which is a couple of minutes earlier.
He's up now.
All right.
He's got one of those tailbacks, one of those ice tailbacks.
But yeah, on the Premier League, you can ask Brendan. He'll back me up here. I always have this debate with him. The best between Messi and Ronaldo. For me, not just because I'm a United fan. For me, it's Ronaldo because he's done it in the Prem. The best league in the world, he's done it. Messi, he probably would do it in the Prem, but he's never tried it.
Well, neither has Xavi, neither is Iniesta, neither is David Villa.
I know. That's why they're not the best in the world. That's why Ronaldo's the best in the world. They
literally won World Cups and Champions Leagues.
Honestly, you can't.
It's open to
you know what it takes. Do you know what it takes to win a World Cup? Like, that's the best of the best of the best.
Well, maybe you were right, though. Sorry, I thought Pogba got fouled. But
it was. He's all right.
Maybe he's hungry. Give him some food. He'll be all right.
He's up to it.
How many games did Ronaldinho play in the Premier League? Ronaldinho.
Brandon, what's your thoughts on that argument though, with seeing more English players in the England team?
More English players in the England team. That's a redundant statement.
Sorry, more like local, like why? What Faz said, like why Sancho's obviously being kept out, frozen out, and what the point Jules made on maybe it's because he doesn't play locally.
Oh, so wait, you mean my point about English players going abroad?
Yeah.
Let's try something. Let's try something. Faz, try and remove Brendan and then add him back in. See what it does. It might fix it.
No, I think that one of the things, Jules, what I will say is you've named some really quality, like all-time greats there, but I think that one of the issues when playing in leagues, obviously outside of England, is you kind of, if you're to be taken seriously, you kind of have to play for one of the big teams. I think that's. I mean, a perfect example was Souček and Šufal. I mean, they were playing Champions League football, and they decided to come to Premier League, come to West Ham, knowing they're never going to play Champions League football, but they'd rather play for West Ham and not play Champions League football. So I think it's easy to use the argument of the Ronaldinhos, Ronaldos, the Messis, but I think you got to look at the players one level below who are trying to put their name on the world stage. And the fact is, they're never going to put their name on the world stage unless they're playing regular football for teams well known. So unless you're playing for a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, a Dortmund, or whatever, but I do agree with your point. Exactly, there are more of our all-time greats that never played in England. That's for sure.
I think there's also the argument of like when you're that sort of Ronaldinho, David Villa, Iniesta level player, I don't think you can manufacture a stint in the Premier League. It has to be sort of the right place, the right time, the right money. You have to fit the system. There's all that sort of thing.
100%. And it's a different. And we all know it's a different game. It's a different game in England.
Put aside like financial fair play. You can't just drop Messi in Burnley's first team and expect him to do the same level of magic.
No, of course not.
Of course not. And I think individual brilliance, he won't carry them to like finishing 7th, for example.
Yeah, and so, I think when you
back in his time, for him to play for a Premier League club like say Chelsea, Liverpool, any of those sort of clubs that could afford him, obviously, it would have to be the right moment, the right time, the right money. He would have to gel in the system, all that sort of thing.
And I agree. And I think
I don't think it's as simple as you have to manufacture like Messi. With Bob comparing Messi to Ronaldo, I don't think Messi can manufacture a Premier League transfer just to say, "Oh, I've done it in the Premier League." Like it's got to. Yeah. Everything has to sort of align correctly in my opinion.
I think that's a great. Well. You make a great point because when we're talking about when Ronaldinho and all that were at their best, were any English teams at that time playing that type of football that they would have suited? I mean, right now, if Ronaldinho was around now, Liverpool, Man City, he fit like a glove. But I'm not too sure.
Well, here's another question. Other than Liverpool in 2005, how many of those European teams during Ronaldinho's peak were actually performing well in Europe, like in the European Champions League? You could say United 99. Because his peak was sort of like late 90s, early mid-2000s, like before he started like doing cocaine and stuff. So like...
Which we don't condone.
Well, no, I'm just saying he had sort of like his personal issues that sort of declined his football in like sort of late 2000s and whatnot. But like... he was a player who was always either like a PSG, Barcelona, like Inter Milan. Like he was other sort of big, high-profile teams outside of England. How many English teams could actually have a player like Ronald, like we're at that level where they could have a player like Ronaldinho in their team?
Spot on.
The Invincible, Arsenal's Invincibles. They weren't really like dominant. Their Champions League performances weren't that great. Chelsea under Mourinho, obviously the winning the Premier League under Mourinho was good, but they weren't really Champions League force. Liverpool, even when they won in 05, they were pretty average in the league. So, other than maybe 99 United, obviously, with the Champions League and the Premier League, I think they won the FA Cup that season as well. Other than that specific outfit, I don't think any other team in England could have had Ronaldinho at his peak.
Yeah, no, I think
Ronaldinho, if anything, would probably been, say, too good for, say, Fergie's United, in, say, the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you make...
not have fit, if you look at Arsenal, who played, Arsenal's Invincible Arsenal, which was the flat 4-4-2, where would you play Ronaldinho, who's traditionally, I think, a number 10? I mean, I didn't watch him in his prime, but I believe he was a number 10, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And I think...
Unless you're playing maybe in a wide midfield position, I don't know. But yeah, there's also...
Yeah, no, you make a good point. And I think, we could sit here all night and talk about the, comparing the leagues and teams in these leagues. But yeah, I think... I always think it's an interesting debate because I think there's no doubt that the Premier League kind of runs deeper as far as there seem to be more competitive teams week to week. Well. But I don't know if Brendan's trying to say something or if he's muted himself or whatever. But anyway, so we know that the Premier League, the Premier League certainly runs deeper.
Can you guys hear me now? Or?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. So here we go, and he should have scored that. Yeah, Benzema should have scored that. So,
No, I haven't.
um,
Yeah, France are missing some pretty easy chances.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, Mbappe
mean,
one as well.
yeah, this is so. What we're looking at it here. It's a beautiful,
Oh no,
beautiful.
you got to bury that. That's easier
Yeah,
than the fucking Mbappe one. You got to
Mbappe,
bury that.
and literally Benzema, world class striker, outside of his boot.
Yeah,
You're really wanting.
So that is the
Oh,
screen that comes up. It's just a whole bunch
that's very
you,
poor from him.
you're really wanting to see the net bulge there for sure.
And
Wow.
another thing I want to bring up about just to continue on the whole thing of like
Yeah.
like the distinction between like great players and great players who play in the Premier League,
Mm.
where soccer differs from probably other codes. I'm not making like a pro European Super League argument because that thing was a whole lot of bullshit. But
Yeah.
where soccer differs from say like NBA or NFL or anything like that is with the NBA you have all the absolute best basketball players condensed into one massive league, whereas with soccer you have the best players spread over different countries and then they have varying numbers of sort of high profile clubs. Like, you have probably, five, I won't count Tottenham, you have probably like five in England currently. You have probably
Yeah.
three in Spain. You have probably maybe three or four in Italy. You have like one in France. You have probably two in Germany. So
Yeah.
like to go, you look like, the Chavis, the Iniestas, the Ronaldinhos, like the players like that who were very good, but not ever played the Premier League club. They're in a code where it's not like in the NBA where you just all condensed into the one league and it's the absolute best of the best. So
Yeah,
that
no,
does kind of, again, not a pro European Super League argument. I thought that was a horrible idea. I'm just saying how
yeah.
there is a difficult thing of like why it's not always easy to get into the Premier League because you have these high profile clubs that can bring in these high profile players that aren't actually just geographically are not based in England. So
Yeah.
it is kind of a bizarre code of sport. I
It
guess, in
is,
that
and I
sense.
think
nothing's connected now.
one of the things
Oh, I know. You mean like
you'll always see is that who are the best players in the world and where are they playing? Where I think De Bruyne is one of the best players in the world, but would he be
Oh, yeah, he's
second,
definitely.
third, fourth, whatever he is? But when was the last time the best player in the world played in England? And the reality is, you got to go back way before Messi and Ronaldo. And even then, who
Probably
was the best player?
I mean, you could maybe say Michael Owen, but he kind of
Yeah.
like, not to discredit, he kind of fizzled out pretty quickly, partly because of injuries.
Well, yeah, Mbappe, man, he's got this ball talking. He's got it on a string. He just skins the centre back, skins the other centre back, comes in and
Yeah, he went
strikes
to like
between
two
the
or three
legs.
goals.
Oh, mate, that would have been a goal for the ages. Look at this.
Yeah, but he
Skins
shot
him.
that as well. I reckon he should
Yeah,
at least hit the target with that one.
yeah, over just through the legs.
I
Yeah,
don't
you've got to
discredit
be.
what he did beforehand, but like
Yeah.
France's finishing is not good today.
Nah, it's terrible. And I mean, Mbappe looked $1,000,000. He was looking like Messi, finishing like Kane. But yeah, they're not that far away, France, and I think if they get one, I think it could get pretty ugly here for Hungary.
Yeah,
They've
Hungary
lost it.
conceding some easy. Here's the thing: it's not just that France are missing easy chances. Hungary conceding some easy chances.
Yeah, and I think that Hungary they've lost that physical intent that they
Yeah, the first
that they
5-10
had from the
goals, really,
start.
that kind of cooled off a bit.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
guess
France have really. I've kind of been mildly paying it because we've been talking as well. I've been like very slightly paying attention. It seems like
yeah,
Hungary sort of like France, is finding the footing and really getting the groove of the game.
yeah.
So
I think that's a
that
good.
seems to have
That's
like
a
psychologically thrown Hungary off a bit. It's just
well.
maybe.
With Hungary, I mean, it is very hard to play at that aggressive.
For 90 minutes.
Yeah, that aggressive intensity for 90 minutes. So they
Yeah,
came out firing. Fair credit to them. They came out firing. They came out aggressive. But no, yeah, France just a quality. They're getting on the ball. But you know what? Again, this is a lot like the Portugal game the other day. 35 minutes gone, still 0-0. I mean, you'd be thinking, okay, Hungary, all we need is a nice chance, maybe one nice through ball, and who knows? But I do agree they are conceding some very simple chances. I mean, could be 4-0 already. To be honest, here we go. Great defense.
I expect France to be probably 2-3 up. On their day.
Yeah. So
Brennan's dropped. He's having some really serious technical issues.
yeah, he is, but that's all right. We'll carry.
Time. Just,
we'll carry the crew, so that's all right.
Yeah,
But no, look, I have been impressed with
was that
Francis.
handball? I like the France guy handball. Not intentionally.
Yeah.
Forearm. I think it was Benzema.
Yeah.
I can't tell because I'm on a small screen here.
It was, yeah. I think it was playing on, but I have been enjoying France's build-up play. It looked good. That's a good turn. He's in there. That's a free kick.
It
Yeah.
helps them that Hungary sitting back.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's what's kind of like enabling them to sort of have.
well, that's what I
win
mean.
ball.
They're playing a back five, Hungary. So that's
You
the
can't,
game plan.
you're an
Sit back.
underdog going against the reigning World Cup champions. You kind of you don't really play gegenpressing football in that instance.
No, you sit back and and then you shoot off your wing backs on the counter, but they're sitting very, very deep. I mean, this is dangerous with 10 minutes to go in this half. Very dangerous. But I guess one of the questions I'll raise is Kante. Where do we rate him as far as on the world stage goes? Underrated, overrated, or about right?
I want to say overrated only because the last couple of seasons he's been really just flat.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, perfect, Brendan.
Your audio is really good as well.
Good stuff.
Hang on.
I was just going to say before you.
Don't screw it up. Like we can hear you almost perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking right into a mic.
I can't hear them. Why can't I hear them?
Oh, you can't hear us. That's all right. He had the same issue the other night, but that's all right. I'll mute him until he works it out. But yeah, look, it's a good point you make. But geez, look at his record, like the trophies he's won. You know, that Leicester win, obviously unforgettable. Yeah.
So who's this we're talking about? I forget.
Kante.
Oh yeah, N'Golo Kante. Yeah. I mean, if you're going by like sort of obviously Leicester stint and
interesting, right? Because they might.
Yeah. Sorry, go Jules.
Yeah, so with Kante, like he had obviously the league title winning season at Leicester, and then he had a couple of really good years at Chelsea. But then since probably like Lampard came in, his performances have really kind of dipped. So you can maybe say a bit overrated in the sense that he had a few years of just being basically an unplayable defensive midfielder. But then it hasn't really like lasted, because for me, like absolute elite world class players are just in constant form year after year after year, like a bit like a De Bruyne. Kante has really fizzled out, so I could say he's a bit overrated, just in the sense that he hasn't maintained his consistent form.
Yeah,
another thing probably, I guess, disrupted him maybe, like on a psychological sense, and maybe this isn't a fact, but I'm thinking it might be. He was played as more of an attacking midfielder under Sarri because Jorginho was the regista. So
yeah,
you could say maybe that's kind of disrupting a little bit. The fact that he had to, he had to completely alter the way he played to suit like sort of a new set of tactics, and then he hasn't been able to re-find his old self. So I don't know. Yeah, I'd say maybe just a tad overrated, just based on the last couple of seasons. What's your stance on Kante?
Yeah, I mean, I rate him as far as what he's been able to do in his career. Basically, from limited, chances, until coming to Leicester and then moving up. I'm sure Brendan is itching to talk about Kante, but if he only got if he's got his mic working,
I think I have. Can you see?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
So Brendan, just a little recap, Jules, and I quote: Kante is
overrated.
Overrated football player of all time.
Am I good? You've got me now?
Yeah, you're good, Bob.
Well, I dropped out. So.
How can you say he's over? Oh, no.
Hey, I got to agree with Brendan there, to be fair. I said to Brendan, if N'Golo Kante...
Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, and Gattuso in one player. That is N'Golo Kante.
One second. I want to clarify here. I said slightly overrated because he's been out of form the last two seasons.
Yeah.
To be fair with Brent, to be the devil's advocate with Brendan,
sorry, but that was because he's been played out of position.
If you put N'Golo Kante in the Man United squad, he's world class because he makes Paul Pogba better. Paul Pogba's got bloody McTominay and Fred behind him now. If you put him in the United squad, Paul Pogba instantly becomes world class. He makes Paul Pogba better for this France squad because he can sit back like Declan Rice, and Pogba knows he can go forward because Kante is just going to clean everybody up.
One thing you have to say with Kante, he's been under he's played under two pretty crappy, well, not crappy, but like a crappy manager in Lampard and one that didn't suit his system in what's his face? Sarri. But you could probably say he'll probably find form again now he's playing under Tuchel.
He has found form now that he's playing under Tuchel. He
Well,
got
there you
man
go.
of the match in both legs of the quarterfinals in the Champions League. He got man of the match in the Champions League final, and he got man of the match in both legs in the semi-final against Real Madrid.
Can I just butt in there quickly? See, this is what I love about, and this is for everyone watching. I don't know, I can't see how many people are watching. Faz can, but for everyone that's watching and everyone that's going to watch, that's what I love about this channel too. Is that we, everyone has their own opinion. We can argue about this for hours.
Mine got misquoted though. I want to throw that in.
Yeah, to be fair.
I was only.
Overrated. It turned into most overrated of all time. Like
I just wanted to just rile Brendan up.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But no, but that's,
that's
the point of this channel. We can have everyone can have their opinions, and that's why we wanted it. We've all got different opinions. We all support different teams. Everyone watching, the links in the comments. If you want to come on, have your say on whatever issue, come on. It's a safe space. Like, that's why we wanted to start this channel, because online, you go on and give your opinion online, you cop abuse, you get death threats and shit for saying Kante's shit.
Oh, I hate those people. Don't get me started on that.
This channel's a safe space for anyone to come have their opinion. You might get Jules or Brendan arguing with you for a bit, but that's all the fun of it. We come on and say West Ham is shit,
I'd probably agree with you if you said that.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. They're not. You used to be. West Ham used to be crap.
If they sign Lingard.
Yeah, I think I think one of the things we can agree on is Kante has the best smile in world football. Something a bit more there's something wholesome about him grinning when he's holding the trophy.
I heard a story on N'Golo Kante where he
the best story in football because he grew up like really poor. I think he grew up in like the poor parts of Africa or something.
Yeah.
And even like he rides a scooter because he doesn't want to like live like even though he's getting paid a lot of money, he doesn't want to live the sort of like riches like mansion and sports car lifestyle. Like apparently he rides a scooter to training or something like that.
Well, I heard a story on him
really humble, even though he's on like 200K a week. That's just something I've read somewhere.
He got invited to someone's birthday. I forgot who it was, and he rocked up and he gave a box of chocolates or something. And he was really embarrassed because he'd never been invited to a birthday party before, so he didn't know what to bring. Poor guy, man. Like,
he does seem a bit like introverted. I don't know, something just about him. Like he might be like maybe outside of football, he's a bit introverted. I don't know. Just
fun fact: N'Golo Kante 7 or 8 years ago wasn't even playing professionally.
Yeah.
That's the same.
That's the thing. Like, it's like a Jamie Vardy story.
That's the same with Mendy from Chelsea. He got delisted a couple of years ago. Didn't have a club.
Mm.
Well, I think the story of Kante, Leicester signing Kante for what, under $1 million, and then he comes and does what he does. And a big shout out to Birchie there.
Class.
Yeah, he's so coming on, signing, becoming world class. So, howdy, Birchie. Thanks for jumping on and supporting the boys. So, yeah, good to see you. And for those wondering, for those watching, Adam Birch is one of the top-notch blokes. Top-notch blokes going around and very knowledgeable in all things. We can
forgive him for being a City fan, though.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah, Manchester City. I mean, what a team. What a checkbook, but also what a team. So you can't go too far without talking about one of the great teams. So they certainly outdo my West Ham, that's for sure. But I love watching the way Man City play, and I think they were much deserved winners. So. All right, so we're approaching half time here of the game. Jules and I were just speaking before. It seemed that Hungary kind of lost that intensity, that aggressive style of play that they had in the first 5 or 10 minutes. They've kind of lost that, and now France really got a stranglehold of the game. You'd probably argue France could have been 3 or 4-0 up at this stage, but I'm just getting this sense that the last couple of minutes, Hungary seemed to just maybe stepping up a notch just before half time, seeing if they can nick a cheap goal and really go into half time with some momentum. But the dodgy pass back there. I'd be thinking that Hungary would be pretty stoked going into half time 0-0.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, actually.
It's an achievement if they go in 0-0.
Like against the
France are world champions,
Yeah, and even then when we were talking about the team lineups, I mean, the Hungarian players aren't playing in the best leagues in the world. You know, where pretty much every single French player is. So
I'm going to pull up their squad.
yeah, that in itself, it's
The only two
and
players I can think of in the top league for thingy is Galachi and Orban. They play in the Bundesliga.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
They're basically
Um,
they're the only two players I know, pretty much.
yeah, and I think and that's why we love
they
world
have-
football.
They have
That-
Adam Nagy. He plays in the EFL, in the League Two of England.
Yeah, yeah,
The second
yes,
division
yes.
of England.
Bristol City.
And they have 2 MLS players who barely get
Yeah.
like 6 caps anyway. So, they got some Turkish league players.
Yeah. So I mean, that's nothing to scoff at, but it's not
Yeah, it's
the level.
Chance here. It's 1-0.
Oh my
Hungary
god!
scored.
Oh
Hungary go into the break 1-0 up. Well, unless
No.
France can get a quick equaliser, which
no, hold on.
There's 5 minutes
Hold
of
on.
extra time.
We're good. Okay, what a goal! And now this guys,
Mate.
we need to just, for those watching, we're all football knowledge here. This is one of the greatest moments in world football, and I don't want to undersell that. This is one of the greatest moments in world football. Hungary should go into halftime 1-0 up against the world champions France. What an absolute scene! The Hungarian fans. This is, I've seen some great things before, but what I would kill, I'm not even Hungarian, but what I would kill to be in that crowd right now, and look at the despair on the French supporters' faces.
How generous are they with the COVID thing? That's a big.
that's the thing. Lloris is a liability. Once you get 1-on-1,
Here we
you
go.
can't put your money on him
So,
saving it.
It's a great header across, and the right winger, he comes in, skins them both, and really you've got to save that. I'm sorry, Lloris, you have to save that.
I think
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
back was a fault as well.
I said
Galachi
that.
would have saved that.
I said that before. If you're France, you're worried about Lloris, didn't I?
Yeah,
I exactly said that before.
But you've got to save that, Lloris. But anyway,
Yeah,
what a moment, guys. Yeah, you're right.
Puskas would be in heaven clapping.
Yeah,
honestly.
but I think let's not undersell it, boys. That this is a great moment in world football. Look at those and you talk about the COVID stuff, and I agree. Don't want to get too political and all that, but you know what? Hungarian supporters, they'd be saying stuff COVID. You'd be killing to be in that crowd right now when he put that ball in the back of the net.
No, because they've been doing a lot of 30% crowd limits and things like that. They've
Look at that.
full crowd in Hungary. So I don't know if they've got more vaccines or if they're just more relaxed about the whole thing.
Can you see? Question for you guys: can you see now? It's like what we were saying before. Hungary 1-0 up. There's no reason why they can't just park the bus.
Here we go. Well, they're playing 5 at the back. I mean, and this is what we talk about time. But this is the problem. This is what we talk about time and time again in any sport. If you don't take your chances when you have momentum, it's gonna come back and bite you. We said not 3 minutes ago that France could have been and should have been 3 or 4-0 up, and now they find themselves 1-0 down. This is world football at its best. This is what we love. Love an underdog.
Can I point something out?
Come on, Hungary.
It's not even like they have Morata type strikers up front. They have proven finishers in Mbappe and Giroud up front. Benzema, and they couldn't even put those away.
That's like what Faz said before. Faz just said it too. That's the good thing. What I love about world football, look at Slovakia. Now look at Hungary. The best teams can lose, whereas in Premier League they can still lose. But if Man City lose to who's the worst team? Sheffield United. It's not going to make much of a difference if they lose in the mid-year. Every game in international, even the friendlies, because they count to your world ranking. Every game in international football is a big game, especially for people like this.
Yeah, mate. I tell you now, I mean, I love every sport. I really do. Everyone who knows me well knows I love every sport. But tell me this isn't the best sport in the world. Look me in the eye and tell me, if you see that Hungarian goal, I will challenge anyone. This is the best sport in the world. You see those Hungarians, I will challenge anyone. This is the best sport in the world.
I think it does the best job of getting.
Well, they could get another.
No,
they can't.
If you compare football to basketball and NFL and AFL, I think does the best job of evoking pure emotion out of its supporters.
Oh no, of course, you're right.
I've seen basketball games pre-COVID. Their crowds are nothing like football crowds.
No, of course,
as we call them here.
Of course. So we've got Andrew popping on saying, "Yo, up Hungary," and I agree. I'm I'm a bit of a neutral going into this game, but this is what I love about the world football. I'm all hungry now. I'm hungry for Hungary. I'm hungry for Hungary. This is what we want. Well done. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for watching. And we've got Ethan as well. Wow, go Hungary. Good stream, guys. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks for watching. And you're right. Go Hungary. I mean,
look at what it means to them too. Look at it. Like France
mate,
to score a goal, it doesn't mean much to them. They're used to scoring goals. Look at Hungary.
This is
what it means to
beautiful.
them.
This is beautiful.
This Frank Ribery looking dude's G'd up too.
Yeah, I mean, just this is just good. Thanks for watching, Ethan. Keep posting your questions, please. I'm all for this. To be a fly on the wall in the French dressing rooms. You don't want to get in the way of the champs here now. To be a fly on the wall, he is going to tear paint off that wall. We might actually hear him from here. He's going to absolutely tear them to shreds.
Lloris, and I think, what are you doing?
Oh, it's a terrible miss. But I think
I said that. I said he was the liability.
I think Hungary should come out hopefully in the start of the second half and come out the way they started the game. That real aggressive, high intensity, put France on the back foot, physical, put France on the back foot. Because now all of a sudden, again, like all sports, the clock is their friend now. The clock is their friend. If they can
pressure.
Yeah, if France need to put the game
turn up.
Yeah, well, they need to put the game on their terms. So now it's up to you, Hungary. Sit back, be aggressive. It is, and the longer the half goes on, this is a great thing about world football. Is the longer the half goes on, the more French players are going to have to commit going forward, which leaves it open at the back. And imagine if Hungary were able to get a second goal.
As well.
Just quickly,
I think that goal's re-energized the whole team. So they're going to come out.
If Hungary win this game, they go, or at least until Portugal play Germany. But if Hungary win this game, if I'm reading it right, they go second. And then if Portugal draw against Germany, they're equal second on goal difference. So
there is every chance.
On the live table, Hungary is second in their group, but there's still a Portugal-Germany game to be played.
Well, there's every chance. I mean, I'm backing Portugal to beat Germany. I mean, this will probably be a conversation for another time, but I'm backing
Germany's
Portugal.
Favourites.
Yeah, well, I'm backing Portugal to beat Germany, and that means Germany don't get out of their group. And what a story that would be in itself. So that's for later.
Get on. Do we see Jurgen Klopp potentially? I heard it earlier. Apparently, the guy the German coach who sniffs his ass and who scratches his ass and licks it. Apparently, he may be. I heard somewhere he may be leaving. Who do we see as the ideal replacement for Germany? For me, it has to be Jurgen Klopp if he wants it, doesn't it? The guy's pedigree.
He is pedigree. Look, I can't see Jurgen leaving Liverpool unless he's sacked, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we're talking about a team, a club who went trophyless for so long, and then he comes in, they win the league, they win other trophies, the Champions League. As far as I'm concerned, the Club World Cup. As far as I'm concerned, it's his job until he doesn't want it. And
I think he's committed to rebuilding Liverpool because, like, how much of a downfall they had this season. I think he's probably going to be committed to seeing if he can bring them back to where he brought them a couple of seasons ago. So,
Speaking of Liverpool, I want to put this to you guys, and especially Jules, being a Liverpool fan, but both of you, and everyone in the chat. What do we make of Rafa Benitez potentially going to Everton?
Oh, mate, I saw that. I think personally, I'll start first. I think he would be a incredible signing for Everton. He's an incredible manager if he's got the right budget, right? And Everton usually quite good at looking after their managers.
James, look at who they have: James, Allen.
Yeah. So but did you see that the pictures going around? The Everton fans don't really want him.
They don't want him. He'll probably win them the league, and they still don't want him.
Yeah, the pictures go.
I think I can clarify this. Everton sort of have an expectation of attacking football, and Rafa's known for his defensive football. Look at how we played at Newcastle United. I think that's probably why they don't want him. It's not like, can he get us wins? There's probably more thinking, are we going to play boring football under him?
Well, Everton are usually a team that you go out of your way to watch. I can't see him going to Tottenham, no.
Could you see him go to Tottenham?
Nah, I can't see him going to Tottenham.
I couldn't either, but you never know.
I think he could walk into most Premier League clubs, honestly.
I don't think
Not
Tottenham
all.
will
Like he
go
probably
for
couldn't.
him.
He couldn't take like United or a City job. I think he could take most of those
No.
probably the relegation or mid-table teams.
Yeah,
I just want to ask a question too. This is for Brendan mainly, or everybody, but I know Brendan's probably itching to talk about this. Can we just comment on how good Billy Gilmore was the other night for Scotland, or this morning it was? Holy crap!
When I played England, I hadn't seen that
That's
game.
what
Billy
that's
Gilmore.
what I'm saying.
That's
If you
what I was
take Kante off Chelsea, we have another DM right there in Billy Gilmore. He's honestly a freak. He's freakishly good, and he's only 20.
yeah, he's certainly a great prospect to have, which again adds to the conversation of why would you go after Declan Rice when you've already got that. But I think if Chelsea went for Declan Rice, he'd probably be a centre back anyway. But I guess that's a
It's like
different.
City.
What's going on with them?
That Chelsea trying to be City, sign every player under the in the earth so that nobody else can have any players and they win every year.
All right, so we've got a comment here. So from 17, big performance from Hungary, although I think France will come back. Just saw your channel. You guys are doing great. Loved the discussion. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, really
17.
appreciate the comment.
Yeah, thank you.
There, 17.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. We're new, we're fresh. We're trying to bring a different dynamic, a different angle to football conversations, and it's really great that that you've jumped on and just so stick with us, and I'm sure we'll get better as we go on. But yeah, I agree. Huge performance from Hungary. I mean, I'm not even Hungarian, but I was getting emotional about it. This is world football. This is why we watch the game.
This makes me want to learn Hungarian.
Yeah, mate. This is why we watch the game. This is why we all fell in love with the game, to see performances like this. But I do agree to go on a bit of a down now. I do think France will come back. I think they've got the quality to come back, and I think that
they'll be getting hedge right at halftime by the
yeah, man.
Especially
and
with those missed shots.
Yeah, and I honestly think this is going to be a
These ears will be ringing in the second half.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a very exciting 45 minutes because France simply have to come out firing, and with the players they've got on the park, it's going to be a very exciting 45 minutes. I can't wait. How long we got?
Can I just say one thing quickly for everyone watching too?
Sorry, thanks again, 17. Keep it up. Yep.
I want to keep mentioning it so people know, so we can get it's repetitive. Links is it's in the description of Facebook. If you want it in YouTube, let me know. I'll post it. Anybody that wants to call in and have their say on this miraculous game, feel free to. We got 2 extra spots. You can have 6 in. Obviously, if we get more people backed up, we'll limit it to 20 minutes each or something. But yeah, our idea is to give everybody a safe platform to talk about their opinion. It could be the worst opinion ever, but that's your opinion. Everyone's opinion's their own, without copping abuse for your opinions, and basically just come on to talk about football. You can talk about anything. You talk about how crap Harry Kane is, talk about how great West Ham are, how Billy Gilmore's the next Messi or whatever.
Yeah, and I think and I think it's important to say, we're just a bunch of football lovers sitting around midnight,
getting a beer in a second.
just loving what we're seeing, and nothing brings the world together like world football. We're in a global pandemic. People are needing to find new things to do. We'll log on to our videos, get involved, have a chat, and you know what? You make friends for life, because this is what it's all about. All right. So, do we want to just talk about a couple of the stats at halftime before we go into it? Yeah, so I pulled it up. So, I mean, there's no surprises there. The ball possession, France have had 70% of possession. There's no surprises. They're world class. Shots, 7 shots to France, three to Hungary. But the most important one is the shots that have gone in, and that's one to Hungary.
You look at France, 7 shots, 1 on target for a World Cup winning team that only won it 3 years ago. That's very poor.
Yeah, and I think
1 on target out of 7. I mean, obviously not going to get 7 out of 7, 1 out of 7. That's very, very poor, especially when you see the 3 of them were basically sitters. Yeah,
and I think that the chances created stat is a really underrated stat in football, and that's they've had six chances that they've had created, and I think that stat's more like a clear-cut chance rather than a shot. And to have 6 clear-cut chances going into halftime, I mean, they'd be absolutely
they did
kicking.
open up the defense quite a like, not to discredit Hungary, but the defense was owned up by France quite a bit, and then France just wasn't obviously finishing.
Can I just say, for those people that know of this player, I know a lot of people don't. I don't understand why Eduardo Camavinga wasn't selected. The kid's quality. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I always play him as in football. I'm a football the centre mid. Made his debut a few months ago. He scored an overhead kick when Pogba was injured. The kid's absolute. He's at LOSC Lille or something in England.
Lille.
Lille in France.
Lille, yeah.
Excuse my French. And the kid's absolute quality. I feel like he could. Although they got Pogba, like, you know, I just feel like the guy's absolute.
I think the simple answer to that is that it's a star-studded squad. You can only take a certain amount.
Right.
That's the simplistic answer. I think that's really good. So just looking at a few of our other things, I think it would be remiss of us to not quickly have a little chat on how we think Australia are performing in the qualifiers. I know we're talking about the Euros here, but just whilst it's half time, I'm sure we've kept up to date with Australia in the Euros, and how do we think we're going? Is it a bit more as expected, bit underwhelming? I don't know. Me personally, I'm a little bit on the fence about it. I feel like we're getting the job done, but is it? It's more of a I don't know. So what do you guys think?
I'll start with this one.
Start with.
Look, I'm looking at it now. Obviously, we had 8 wins, no losses, no draws, 24 points, right? Basically, it's game over. We've qualified.
Yeah.
The Asian, we spoke about this on the last stream, I think, with you, Faz. The Asian, we joined Asia to get a better competition. The competition in Asia has deteriorated by a long mile. But my point was, and I raised this on the last stream as well. Oh shit, my laptop's broken. And I want to raise it with everybody else. It's watching now that didn't watch last time. Australia, we raised it again. Australia pulled out of the Copa America to focus on this league. They went and played their B side anyway against bloody Nepal, who are a pub side, who I reckon our futsal team on Monday night could beat 10-0.
Nepal, Chinese Taipei, Kuwait, and Jordan. Yeah.
They're all pub sides essentially. We played our B side. We played our B side against them anyway. So why couldn't we take our A side to the Copa America? I don't care if we get smacked 10-0. It's a better competition for us. It
is, and I think going on my tangent that I like to go on, I think for me the pleasing thing about Australia at the moment is we're not conceding goals. I mean, to beat Jordan 1-0, I mean that's an impressive clean sheet. But I do agree. We should have taken a squad to the Copa America. I think. Did they use COVID as a reason? I'm not too sure. But I think one of the reasons was they were worried about not being able to qualify for the World Cup. But really, it's a disappointment all around for me. I am glad Australia are winning the games. I am glad we look like we're going to qualify again. I think younger generations, maybe it's kind of lost on the younger generation of how difficult it is and what a story it is to qualify for World Cups. I mean, I do remember my old man was crying when we qualified for the World Cup back in 2006, and now because we've qualified for many in a row, I think the younger generation just think we'll just qualify for another World Cup. But yeah, I'm not too sure. What do you think, Brendan?
No, I agree, but like the team we had in 06 was miles better than the team we have now. I reckon.
Yeah,
and that was the Uruguay game, if I remember correctly, with the penalty shootout where John Aloisi scored the winner and went on a massive.
Remember where we were.
But to be fair, to me, Mark Schwarzer won us that game.
Mate, those 2 penalty saves, insane. But I think we maybe we'll do a stream one night and rewatch it and reminisce that. I reckon that'd be great. But we've got another question from 17, which is fantastic. So Griezmann and Mbappe should have scored. Damn right they should have scored. Oh my God, I nearly fell off my chair. Thoughts on those players? They come from a weaker league compared to the Prem. Do you guys think that affects them internationally? It's a really good question. We actually raised that not that long ago, and we spoke about the different qualities in the different leagues. My immediate answer, without looking too deep into it, would be I don't think so, considering they won the World Cup. I'm not sure being in an inferior league affects them that much.
To be fair,
However,
Mbappe is one of the best players in the world at the moment too. So top five,
of course.
easily.
However, I would like to say that we do see a weak underbelly sometimes of these great teams when a team like Hungary come at them, that real dogged performance. Some of the great teams and great players of yesteryear have shown a weak underbelly, and maybe France is showing that again. But yeah, we can all agree, yeah, they are probably in the two-horse leagues or whatever, compared to the Prem, not playing those rough, tough games week in, week out. Where, yeah, I love the way Hungary are bullying them. So, but as far as my thoughts on Griezmann and Mbappe, I mean, they're obviously world class. But gee whiz, if you want to be world class, you've got to score those goals. Thoughts, Brendan?
It's just that question made me think of something, and I'm like, because PSG didn't win the league, has that impacted Mbappe's confidence in his own ability? You know, because like everyone expects PSG to win League One, and the fact that they didn't, maybe he's like, oh, maybe I'm not as good as everyone thinks I am, sort of mindset.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he needs to shake out those cobwebs right now because France really need him to turn up. Like they're relying on him because Griezmann's
Go on.
unreliable. My mate always tells me Griezmann's better than Messi. Griezmann's better than Messi. It's like Messi could be 50 and still carry Barcelona. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but Mbappe is. I've never once said Mbappe is not world class. He is world class, but maybe them not finishing top of Ligue 1 may have impacted his confidence a little bit because he is still young. He's only like 23, so his mind's gonna be playing tricks on him and stuff.
Yeah, and we do know that sport in general is a large percentage of it's played up in the head. We do know that. We've seen that before. So, Jules, what do you think in regards to
I don't want to sort of
17?
like sort of judge Mbappe and Griezmann just off of this one performance, but
Yeah.
there is something to be said for just missing for like putting to bed just very easy shots like what Mbappe had. Like he had two very easy shots and he put them both wide.
At least got to hit the target, you know.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a matter of is he being in a weaker league like stunting his growth, or is he lacking confidence because of not winning League One this year, not winning the Champions League? Like that will be a factor, but it just comes back to that thing of when you're a world-class player and you're a proven world-class player, you just got to put to bed those very easy shots, especially on the major stage.
Ooh.
I mean, unless it's a mentality thing of him like fearing that he won't live up to like all the expectations, and that's why he's missing very easy shots. I don't know, but like,
yeah,
those are shots that Mbappe on any other day he just put to bed.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that sentiment. So once again, thanks 17. Keep tuning in, keep commenting. It's great.
Just to sort of like prove us wrong and get back on track. So it's like although there were like very bad misses, it's only one game.
No, of course they just need to
like even in this half line, he could get a good goal and sort of get the game back to 1-1. So
yeah, spot on. So what have we thought about the start to this second half? I feel
Pogba's trying to take it under his wing. He's just he step over like 1,000 times and then gave it away. But he's literally, but on that point quickly with Mbappe, you're the best player, or consider you. Basically, it's when you consider the next people to take over from Messi and Ronaldo, it's Mbappe and Haaland, right? Well, for me, it is. Yeah. It shouldn't matter. Like look at Messi. Yeah. Barcelona had a shit year. I haven't watched the Copa, but I'm sure he's dominating the Copa America. Like
they won 1-0 against.
That gets me to the next point as well. What do you guys? I heard Denmark. So Haaland could potentially miss the 2 next World Cups because I don't know if you saw it. Denmark wore a shirt saying some political message about.
They don't want to play it in Qatar.
Oh yeah. I feel like, as much as politics needs to stay out of football, I kind of agree that was rigged, and I don't know how it didn't get changed. But I don't see. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Haaland getting banned.
Yeah. So Bob, to just clarify, so the protest or the shirts aren't really based around Qatar having the World Cup as far as how they got it. It's more so about their laws in place about how they treat treat
workers.
Yeah. And women and all that stuff.
I agree with it then. In that case,
Wait, hang on. I just want to just jump in here. Is this in
Yeah.
relation specifically to the fact that migrant workers have died in Qatar, or is this the broader issue of how Qatar treats its citizens? Like, is this?
Yeah, it's the broader issue, I believe.
Okay.
So
Because if it was about
yeah,
if it was about the construction stuff with how the people making the stadiums have like had injuries and or death, that's kind of been known for a few years anyway.
yeah.
See, sorry, I'll cut in here. If a lot of teams end up protesting it, I can see somewhere going. If it's one team, what's UEFA just going to do? They're just going to ban. FIFA going to do? They're just going to ban Denmark. Whereas if most 99% of the teams in the tournament do it, something's going to happen.
And I'm not being funny. Apologies to all our Norwegian supporters and viewers out there, if there are any. But
Denmark.
are Norway really are they gonna make many World Cups? I don't know. They seem to be one of the latter teams to.
Yeah, but like, what if like say England players take on this message as well? Are they going to?
Yes, and I agree that's
the problem.
Yeah, so I think
Norway, but this will become an issue when the more high-profile European clubs, or even clubs in any continent, for example, actually sort of taking this issue of we won't play Qatar because of various political issues.
Yeah, so I think
just
that's
get Marcus Rashford to raise it, and we'll be right.
Yeah, so I think that's a real watch this space. Watch this spacing. I think we'll see it. We'll see a little bit more coming out. Hey, I'm really liking Hungary at the moment. They're sitting back really well, and they had a really good opportunity just before. The pass just couldn't get out. I think it was Furlow. They couldn't get out there. So I tell you what, it's been a good 5 or 6 minutes here. Pogba has taken control.
You boys quickly. I feel like obviously we're talking about like Dumfries and this tournament getting somebody to a big major club, like putting yourself on show. What are we looking about Galucci? I kind of see him going like, who needs a keeper? Like West Ham got Fabianski, but like Newcastle, for example, I see him getting a Premier League offer or buying Bundesliga offer.
Well, just quietly, I would certainly take him at West Ham because Fabianski's not getting any younger. Again, he's at Red Bull.
Salzburg.
Yeah, I think what would be the price? I think that's going to be an issue of what what clubs are going to go for him. And what did we think of that yellow card? Just quietly, I thought he was a bit stiff.
Yeah, he was going for the block. I could see even the free kick. The card seems a bit.
Just
stiff.
to be fair, Hungary is still France is still favourites to win this game. By the way.
No, well, they should be
on Sportsbet.
But yeah, so I think as far as
then it's a different story. But no, they'd still be favourites even at 1.
Yeah, I think as far as the goalkeeper moving, it's such an interesting position. Do you often see big money for goalkeepers? I'm not sure unless you're Chelsea, who love spending big money on goalkeepers. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it'd be all about the price. You know what, Jules? Sorry, we'll come back to that. But Jules, you said before that France are looking angry, they're looking frustrated. Is that what you said before? Yeah, I could see. I could. Yeah, I could see it big time. Even then,
you had that shot from the wide flank. That seemed like a bit of a desperate move to shoot from out. Instead of crossing it to just shoot from way out wide.
Yeah, and that reeks of frustration, doesn't it? When they start taking their shots,
they're letting their frustration get visible. That's going to play into Hungary's hands.
And that's come with frustration too, because they're obviously.
This game is definitely not going the way fucking France wanted to, is it?
No way, man.
Like it's really, especially the second half, which is really going against them.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like to see that.
To be honest, that's what Hungary were doing against Portugal too.
Who was that? That was a dive.
Portugal going into halftime against Hungary, they were really frustrated with them. They're really good at frustrating their opposition. Puts them off their game.
They are, and like I said, I raised it at the start of the show. That 3-0 against Portugal was not fitting of what the score, what they deserved. So yeah, but look at France keep getting it in good positions, but I tell you what, I did say I think if we can rewind and go back, I believe I said, geez, I hope France don't rue these missed opportunities. So
But do we think that goal that Luis conceded, do we think if Galucci was in goal for France, they would have conceded it?
No, he would have saved it.
He would have saved it. I think, again...
Like, it was basically the same shot as the Griezmann shot, and he saved it. And in fact, he was already on the ground when Griezmann shot it, and he still saved it.
Did someone raise the point of big money being spent on goalkeepers?
Yes, I said that before.
Well, Alisson went to Liverpool for $55.5 million.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
a
guess
lot of
I
money.
can't see
for a goalkeeper,
Gulacsi
that's
being
quite, I
that
guess that's a lot for,
expensive
like a forward.
because
Nah,
Allison
yeah,
was already one of the best keepers in the world when he went to
I
Liverpool.
think that's more than what we
Yeah.
bought Salah for, actually. Yeah, it is.
But-
We bought
Yeah.
Salah for like 48 mil.
We raised this point we did raise this point the other week. You have to consider COVID and the deduction in fees that people are going to pay.
Yeah, because let's
But
get money.
pre-COVID, he may have gone. Somebody may have bought him. Say he probably worth 50 mil after this tournament alone, based on this tournament, if he keeps going. Whereas now without COVID, I reckon about 30.
yeah,
35,
yeah,
35 40 mil, you'll get him.
possibly. Hey, so I guess it comes to that stage now of it. 55 minutes gone. Who are we thinking? What are France? Obviously, we agree that Hungary just keep business as usual. But what do we think France need to do? Who have they got on their bench?
Possession as well, Hungary. They're not.
Yeah, they're
You know,
not.
you know what I feel?
dominating
I
possession,
feel
they're getting a
I
bit
feel
more of
France
it.
are going to get a dodgy penalty from Mbappe falling over and then
Yeah.
fucking end up.
So
winning it.
who do we think? Do you think of bringing Giroud on? Who else?
Yeah.
Dembele.
I probably look at bringing Lamar on. Thomas
Yeah,
Lamar.
I agree. Lamar,
thinking-
Or
Giroud,
Kingsley
Dembele.
Coman.
I'm thinking it has to
Kingsley
be an attack.
Coman's a shout as well.
I don't actually think he's on the bench. Coman's not on the
Wait.
bench.
What?
What?
Oh, he might have picked up an injury because
Who's
like
not on
Yeah.
the bench?
Kingsley Coman.
Oh,
He's
you know what
good
it is?
too.
Because you have 26 players in your squad, but only 23
Yeah.
on match day. So they've had to sub 3 out. That's why Sancho wasn't in the first game against Croatia.
Yeah, but
So
I'd
probably
still be
that as
having.
well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, so I'd be looking at their bench. Giroud, Dembele, Lamar are the three that I'd be looking at to bring on.
Yeah, and I'm baffled how Saint Maximin didn't make the Euro squad for France.
Yeah, that's a bit
Like,
iffy. I feel like
He's such a quality player. Like he
Yeah.
can grab games by the scruff of the
He's
neck.
definitely quality. Is he really France recently won the World Cup quality?
Yeah,
I
that's
see. I
It's a
I
good
mean,
when I
point.
think of
he's
Saint
a rotation
Maximin,
player.
I think of Saint Maximin as like the
He's probably good for
besides
Newcastle, I agree with that.
Zaha, maybe
Yeah.
the only player outside the top 6, maybe top 7 if you include West Ham, some of their players. But I feel like he's the only player from at least that bottom 10, including Arsenal squad, that would make the Chelsea's or United or the Liverpool's. Like Saint Maximin I saw him play for Newcastle. He comes on and just changes the game.
Yeah, I was just saying he comes
he's a good impact
Dembele
player
on.
to, like, a higher
But
level
I think
team, I agree.
I think with Saint Maximin, I think when you look at making a squad, taking it to a World Cup or whatever, you're looking for those players that have a point of difference. Now, I often say, someone like Michael Antonio, is he that point of difference that Southgate could use it for England? I think Saint Maximin does have that point of difference where, like you said, Jules, and I agree with you. Is he France winning a World Cup quality? The answer is no, he's not. But what he does provide is that in a game like this against Hungary,
Holy shit, Hungary on the counter attack again. Oh,
Yeah.
Just quickly, Rabiot's just come off for Dembele. So
we just saw that.
he's shit anyway, Rabiot.
Yeah.
Made, honestly.
But I was saying with Saint Maximin, I think in a game like this against Hungary, I mean these are the games that Saint Maximin plays week in, week out. When he plays for Newcastle, he'd come on and he would actually thrive in this type
Yeah,
of
and he's probably a player you
match.
need when the rest of the team looks fucking dead.
Yeah, but
Something
again,
to prove as well.
yeah, but again,
France is just death warmed up at this point. And that shot just went nowhere.
would France? They might not be looking at that, but I think when you're putting together a
You
squad,
have to kind of look at all avenues when you're selecting for a major tournament.
correct, and when you're putting together a squad
And that
to
comes back
go
the
to a
Southgate
major
thing.
tournament,
Why do you put in Sancho, which doesn't intend to use him?
yeah, you just need to have those players with a point of difference, and I just worry that maybe France just don't have that. Maybe Saint Maximin would have been that player point of difference. Like, yeah, but for me, and again, Giroud's a fantastic in the air. I'd be bringing Giroud on right now for Benzema, in my opinion. I think, and just put the ball in the box.
Oh, Golashi, what a save. Usman Dembele.
I've actually thought this since the World Cup. I think Benzema's finished. Benzema's finished.
Hold on a minute, Bob. So we got
that's a good
Dembele
shot.
come in. He's come in, and it's another fantastic save.
Was it a save or did it hit the post?
No, it's a save.
That
You
was
say
great.
Hungarian goalkeeper.
Wait,
What a gun.
Oh, no,
This
hit the
guy,
post.
man.
No, hit the post. Well, he knows where his posts are.
Well,
so-
he
No,
had the shot covered anyway if it was on target.
Did you guys watch,
Oh,
Faz, did you watch the 2014 World Cup?
mate, who you
Do
talking
you remember
to?
Mexico's goalkeeper, how he was like insane?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
same deal.
this gives me hints of that, where the only goal he conceded was when Iron Robin dived in the box and had to
that was a
concede a pen.
terrible dive. I can't believe they got paid. That was
That's
horrible.
what this guy's reminded me of, and that
Yeah.
Ochoa got a big move and then obviously was wasted. I feel like this guy, like, not saying no offense to Red Bull Salzburg, I'm not saying they're not a big club, but like,
Yeah.
they got a good manager, but like,
Okay, who's
You
giving
mean
that much
Leipzig?
space?
That's
Hungry played across it. Who gave him that much space on the flank? That's ridiculous. That's horrible defending.
I think it's Kante.
oh, good defense. Can we just say, like, I was honestly, just put it this way: if England, just say Harry Kane got injured for England, right, and you were Southgate, obviously he'd probably end up bringing in bloody a defender anyway. But would you bring in which striker would you bring in? For me, it's either Callum Wilson or Danny Ings. They had to be the next two to come in, don't they?
Well, Dan, I guess it's one of those. Like I said before, Saint Maximum. It's that point of difference. Which player has the point of difference? Now, I'll be honest. Callum Wilson, Danny Ings, Harry Kane, Calvert-Lewin, they're all similar. Now, I know I'm a little bit of bias here with West Ham, and I'm not necessarily.
That was a handball by the France player in the box.
Nah, it wasn't.
It was his
It
hand
wasn't.
was behind. Yeah,
But his hand was behind his back.
So I'm a little bit biased.
I give up on that shit.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit biased in regards to West Ham, and I'm not saying him, but a player like a Michael Antonio is probably that point of difference rather than another Wilson, Ings, Calvert-Lewin type. That's just someone who can add something completely different. Now we've got Birchie here.
I agree with you on there.
Hungry are smacking them, lads.
Because Antonio can play multiple positions as well. He can play right back, he can play right wing, he can play up front.
Yeah, so it's utility. So we've got Birchie, Adam Birch again. Thanks, mate. Thanks for watching. Hungary are smacking them, lads. Yeah, we agree. They are.
They've actually sort of. Hungary
they deserve the 3 points.
Yeah.
Hungary
if they win this game, it's fully deserved.
Yeah,
if they win this game, I dare you to learn Hungarian.
Now,
no, I won't learn Hungarian.
Not even parking the bus anymore. They're actually getting like half-hearted counterattacks now.
Now we've got something interesting here. We've got John who's decided to live call in. Let's just see.
Camera, so.
It doesn't, yeah. So
all good.
Should we give him a go or not?
Yeah. No, he messaged me. He said he doesn't have a camera. I said it's all good. I know. John,
all right,
so
cool. Let's go. So we'll bring you in. So Johnny, what do you got to say, mate?
Yo,
Welcome.
You can hear me, right? Just
Yeah,
making sure
yeah.
that you can hear me. Yeah. Well, I mean, this game has been quite intense. It's kind of a bit surprising seeing France lose, considering that the world, reigning champions. So it's a bit odd. From what I've seen, they're really weak in the back line, kind of.
Yeah.
Especially through Pavard. I think he's probably the weakest part of the whole team, and that's where the goal came from.
Yeah.
So,
and I think
what about Lloris, Johnny? What do you think of Lloris?
I don't really know about Lloris. Like
the
there, maybe he should be making a save, but there's not really much pressure. I think it's more so the defender's fault there for letting him get through.
And I think
through to the 1v1.
At the start of the show, I brought up the question: Do France have a weakness? And it was a resounding, we think if they do have a weakness, it is their defense. So that's a good observation, John. I think, Pavard, he has looked like he's been caught out a little bit, especially on the counter. Now, we'll just quickly, Birchie again, another comment. They're just playing with passion and hunger, and the crowd's firing them. I think you're right, Birch
as well.
I think if it was a France home game, it'd be different.
Well, I mean, but you even look at the French crowd. Yeah, but you look at the French crowd right now. They're not moving. I mean, I know they're 1-0 down, but they're not moving. But you go up the other end. I mean, it looks, the sea of red is just magic to see. And again, this is what we say. This is what world football is all about. This is why we fall in love with the game. You see how it unites the people. I mean, I said it before, I'm not Hungarian, but I would kill to be in that stadium right now with those fans because this is next level. So thanks, Birchie, again. So
another factor, like if you look at when we watched the England Croatia game, England only had 18,000 people spread across an 80,000 seat stadium at Wembley.
Yeah,
this is Hungary's home game, and they've basically a full house. I think that's a massive advantage.
Oh, it's a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage.
You can get a decent, even a 30% full stadium. You can get a decent atmosphere. This is a packed house, and they're all just going nuts. So that's just a whole other advantage on a whole other level.
They're on the counter here. They're on the counter. Cut in, son. Oh. But
So
I want to put something to Johnny though.
yep.
What is your, obviously being from England? What are your thoughts on the England game? Absolute trash.
It was trash, completely boring, honestly. To be honest, I
Yeah.
don't like Southgate as a
Yeah.
coach or whatever.
That,
I don't even know how he got the job.
that's coming up pretty regularly and pretty clearly here.
Do you think he gets sacked, John?
we,
If he loses,
well,
do you think he gets sacked?
sorry to stop you there, before
Yeah.
John goes on, do you think he'll get the sack? Well, just to clarify, the reason Southgate got the job is because remember Sam Allardyce, who had the job at the time, got caught on hidden camera in a cafe talking about how
that was funny.
I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but he was talking about something how he dodged the FA or whatever, and they sacked him. He managed one game and they sacked him, and then that's when they got Southgate in. So yeah. So John, sorry, carry on. Do you think Southgate will get the sack?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I feel like he's kind of safe in, I don't know, he's like in this protective bubble where as his with England have had so many managers, especially like when it comes to the World Cup and big events like the Euros and stuff. Like they don't really get, you know,
1-1.
like the shot
Antoine
on the
Griezmann
stick.
has scored.
Yup, this is why he's the best player.
Ah,
Wow.
He's the best player.
Alright.
Yup,
It's not
Antoine
okay.
Griezmann is better than Messi.
All right.
so what play by Mbappe though there?
Yeah. So that's so let's have a look. Let's run through this goal. We'll just see the French
It's
fans.
just a fluke. It's a fluke long ball up from Lloris.
Yeah.
Mbappe's controlled it nicely.
The French fans celebrating. Let's just have a look. So it was a long ball from Lloris. Yeah, was it Mbappe? So it's a freak long
It
ball.
was from a goal kick.
Yeah, from a goal kick. Centre back needs to get a head on that, in my opinion. Comes
100%.
back.
Yeah,
Mbappe.
Griezmann, he's even on him.
Yeah,
That
look at
run
$1 million
wasn't being timed
bucks.
properly.
Comes in. Yeah. So in my opinion, to me, the centre back, the Hungarian centre back, needed to get a header on that long clearance. That's a simple mistake in a world football. One mistake can cost you. And
Griezmann, I think someone has to track his run as well.
Who's tracking Griezmann there though? Who's
Yeah,
following
That's
Griezmann?
what
there?
I was saying, that his run needs to be tracked into the box.
and so I mean, 66 minutes gone. Do we expect France to go on from here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I mean,
that's a
what I-
momentum shift to get an equaliser.
That's
especially
very
away from
that's
home.
very deflating. That's very deflating.
I feel for him. But
In,
what I would
for
do
Hungary.
personally, if I was Hungary's manager, I would go on and keep attacking. Like, what they got to lose? They're not going to qualify if they don't win this game. They're definitely not going to qualify. So why don't you just try? If you lose 2-1, you lose 2-1. You know?
Yeah, they've got to go.
That's a
They've
foul.
got to go
That's
for
a
it.
foul.
And they've noticed weaknesses in France's system, so they probably know like what areas to exploit if they want to get a second
Yeah.
goal.
So
I want to put it to France though. With France's defense, I kind of feel like Kempembe is the weak link. What happened to Umtiti from he was the World Cup. He was a World Cup winning centre back.
No, he's
he
not.
injured.
Umtiti, he played in the World Cup.
Yeah, and he gave away like 3 penalties in the World Cup, Josh. He was absolute
That's the point.
rubbish.
I want him to come on so that Hungary can win.
So just say we'll just have we got the Andy 009. Thanks for tuning in, mate. So Griezmann, the best player in the world, no cap. I'm not too sure what the no cap means, but Griezmann is the best player in the world. Debatable.
No, he's not.
He is.
He's
We
not.
went missing for Barca this year.
Was this you? Did you post that? I don't know, but yeah, look, he's
Andy 009.
Huh?
yeah, the Andy 009. Look, he's good. Hopefully, for your sake, he can come to United. Another one from Birchie. England Scotland looked like a boring defensive game from the 80s and 90s. Birchie couldn't have said it better myself.
Hershey would know what he's talking about.
Yeah, 80s and 90s, he was in his prime, Birch, back then. But to me, I was oh jeez. Anyway, I was I couldn't believe that I got up to watch it. To be honest, it was. Although I will say though, I did write this down that when Stones hit the post from the header early on, I did think, well, maybe, just maybe, they could go on with it. And I wonder if he had have scored that goal, whether it would have been a completely different game. I don't know, but that was a really good opportunity for Stones to score, and he didn't. And then the rest is history. But I do wonder if that had have snuck in. Who knows? But that's world football again.
I feel like England would have done all right to have Mason Greenwood in the squad. And again, I'm not just saying this as a United fan. Like, Mason Greenwood is one of the best young players in the world. The guy's got basically 99 on both feet. He should have on FIFA, but he doesn't. But 99 with both feet. He plays. He can play anywhere. Right?
He
Probably
knows where the goals are.
Southgate probably
why
stick him
wasn't
left
he
back.
selected at a Sancho? You think he probably gets selected?
Yeah, and he knows where the goals are. And I think that's
if Southgate prefers the English players, like Greenwood plays in England.
Yeah.
Or if he prefers the Premier League play, Greenwood plays in the Premier League. So I don't know why he doesn't select him ahead of Sancho.
Like, you could say it was because of that COVID breach that he did when he brought I think it was the prostitute or his girlfriend or something into the rooms. But that same thing with Phil Foden. Phil Foden did this. Phil Foden did the same thing.
Yeah.
I do want to say though,
but we don't condone that here at Football Matters.
No, we don't. John, being an England fan, what's your thoughts on obviously only United fan because United want him. Harry Kane, do you reckon he goes missing in big games? I do.
Yes and no. I feel like it's more of a confidence thing in his team. Like, like he is, apart from Son, I'd say their best player. Like, hands down, the goals come through him basically most of the time. And, since being the best player on the team, you have basically, like, I don't know, maybe he has all the responsibilities that he puts on himself, maybe. I'm not really sure exactly because
what about
I don't really
big
watch
games,
too
though?
many of his games.
Say,
but
with the Champions League. With the Champions League, he was nowhere to be seen. It was all, what's his name, Lucas Moura. Kane didn't do anything.
And
the
I think
England World Cup last year, he didn't do anything. He hasn't done anything this tournament.
I think he's a bit of an easy target, Harry Kane, as well, and rightfully so. I mean, when you take a position like him, like England captain, you do have to come with a certain level of scrutiny. But I don't think we should underestimate the pressure that he would be under being the England captain, being a striker as well as the captain of striker. Sometimes in games that's no man's land. Like depending on you're more reliant on how your teams play. It is hard to make it is hard to make an impact if your team's not playing well as a striker. So, yes, he might go missing in big games, but I mean, it's the age-old story. I think a striker's only as good as their service, and if he's going to go missing in big games, it's on everyone else around him as well.
Can we just talk about how easy Griezmann went down there?
He did go down easy, but I also mentioned that the last 3 or 4 minutes, France are well on top. But yes, so Jules back on.
So with
Kane,
I can't we've been saying how he goes missing in big games. I can't speak for what he did in the Champions League or how he played under Pochettino, but at England he's being managed by Southgate. I think that's a factor as well.
Defensive-minded manager.
Yeah, even if he has good attacking players around him, he doesn't have an attacking system around him.
Yeah,
or even probably a manager that can get the best out of him.
But see, I feel like Southgate put that on him, making him England captain. To be fair, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a United fan. I like Harry Kane, but to be fair, I don't think he should have been England captain. To be honest, I feel like, for me, I feel like an international captain needs to be a club captain, and he's not the captain of Tottenham. It shouldn't be. Maybe it shouldn't be Maguire, but like Jack Grealish, although he doesn't play, or maybe like even John Stones. I know he's not a club captain, but for me, I just don't. I didn't think he should have got the captaincy. To be fair,
Josh, when Harry Kane was named captain, a lot of these players weren't in the national team setup.
Yeah,
I know, but what I'm saying, maybe even Jordan Henderson, for his leadership.
Henderson is captain for England when he plays.
Yeah.
Well, Henderson is a very good leader. I would have just made him captain.
Yeah,
he's not really a first-team player for England at this point.
I think my issue with the whole captaincy, I mean, this is going to be up for a debate. I'm surprised Laurie saved that one. This is going to be up for a debate. But my opinion is a captain of a football team needs to be able to see majority of the pitch. So I feel like the deeper you can have your captain, whether that be midfield or a centre back, I feel like that's a keeper even. A keeper's an interesting one because they are stuck there. So I'm more thinking like a centre back or centre mid probably needs to be your captain. Just that you can impact the game more. You can drag people along. If you're sitting, it's kind of like in football, like in Aussie rules football. You're full forward. If he's a captain, how can he make an impact sitting a full forward unless he gets the ball? And yeah, I just feel like, and it's. I mean, I like Harry Kane. I hate Tottenham, obviously, but I like Harry Kane. And I just feel like maybe you're right. Maybe if they can maybe England don't have they don't know their regular starting midfield, so it's hard to pick a captain. I don't know, but yeah, I'd be looking at more moving it down the field. Now we've got the Andy 009 who's popped up again, and he said, I don't want Harry Kane at United. Mason Greenwood is the future. He's going to be better than R9. So
yeah, Mason Greenwood's the right winger.
It's not a concern if
I
Kane's
disagree with the
United sign
R9
Kane,
bit.
does he kind of
Yeah, the
lock
R9's a bit far, mate.
It's a bit far.
look,
Maybe
we
Palais, but no, I'm kidding.
sure. Look, we value all opinions here. Look, I like the confidence, but I think the Andy, I think he raises a really good point about when you're recruiting players to your club. I mean, we briefly just spoke about with Chelsea. Was it with Gilmore? Was it Gilmore?
Yeah,
And why would you go out and spend hundreds of millions of pounds or tens of millions of pounds on a CDM when you've got one there? And I think this is a similar thing for United. Like, why would they go out and spend a big fortune on a Harry Kane, which will cost them an arm and a leg when they've got players? I know they're completely different players, but yeah, I just think you've especially in the COVID situation, is getting Harry Kane the best financial move for Manchester United? I'm not sure.
My stance on United is they don't need to be spending big money on forwards. I think they have pretty relatively good depth in that regard. I think their big money needs to be spent on centre backs and midfielders. And
they're in for Varane too, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to ask John a question actually because we didn't get
Sancho should go to United. I don't think they need forwards. I think they need
further
behind the ball is where they need to strengthen.
And
everybody's Can I go?
Just so Giroud, Giroud's come on for Benzema. Now, I don't want to say that I'm like should be a football manager or anything, but I called that about 10, 15 minutes ago. I thought he should have come on. Yes, it's 1-1, but I feel like you need to give him the opportunity. I'm feeling
goal scorer.
I'm feeling Giroud's going to score. He scores wherever he goes.
Just before I ask John this question,
yep.
I feel like Benzema's basically he was finished in the 2018 World Cup. The guy's a dud. But anyway,
the 2018 World Cup. He's been banned from France.
He's banned from France.
He's been banned from France since
anyway,
06.
But he's finished, man. He's done. So he's like Higuain. He should be in the freaking MLS. But I put this to John.
Wasn't he one of the highest goal scorers in La Liga this season?
Yeah,
he was.
I think he was like in the top
I
five.
still don't rate him, to be fair. Personally, I don't rate him. But
I just want to say,
I'll put this to you,
Josh, you just got buried.
Yeah, probably. I want to put this to John though, because obviously everybody that watches the channel knows the four of our opinions, and I think Dan's as well. Your opinions, John, on the Ericsson situation with the TV crew filming it, and what you thought at that time and how you felt.
First of all, I'm really happy the players went around and shielded him. Number one, but I don't think that they should have shown it at all. As soon as it happened, obviously, it's live TV and it can happen, and of course there's no avoiding it. But to linger on the shot like they did was just, in my opinion, was just very disrespectful towards him, and of course the medical staff that went to help him. It's very, very obviously, like I said before, it's very difficult. Like in live sport, it can happen. People not just even in football, but in other sports as well. People have medical issues and stuff.
I think the biggest issue was to me when they kept panning to his wife. I thought that was a bit ordinary. Yeah. So
so that leads in. Sorry, go Faz.
No. You go because we've got another
That
question
leads
about
into a
transfers.
that leads into a question that I put to the boys, John. Again, I'll put it to you. Do you feel, and I know Faz's opinion on this and the other two, but maybe that first aid and CPR should be made compulsory to all footballers to learn, because the captain of Denmark, Asia, or whatever his name was, if he didn't know first aid and to make sure old mate didn't swallow his tongue, he would have been dead. So for me personally, I feel like that all footballers should be made to learn CPR as part of signing a contract or something. But what's your thoughts on that?
100%. I agree. I think everyone, not just the players, the managers, the coaches, everybody should be able to know at
All the
some
stuff.
decent level how to perform CPR, because it can happen to anyone at any time and any place. Like I don't if you remember Tiote a few years ago.
Yeah. Newcastle.
Him. Of course, it wasn't shown, so we didn't know. Like, I think it was in. I don't know whether it was in training. I don't even remember.
Training.
But
in
I don't know
China.
whether there were people that knew how to do CPR, or whether or not he got the medical aid that he he should have got.
Yeah.
But I do, going back to the question, I do believe that that all players should know at least like the basics,
Yeah.
all the, because like I said, it can
Like
happen
chest
to
compressions and
anyone,
all
and it
that.
can happen anytime. It can even happen
Yeah.
to the ref. Like,
Yeah. Spot on.
And Faz
No-
will correct me if I'm wrong here, as obviously a teacher and his partner being a first responder, but that split second between the time it takes the medical person to run from the field could be life or death. If this
Yeah.
guy here
Well,
collapsed next to the keeper and the keeper knows CPR, he's keeping him alive. By the time the medical staff realise he's down,
every second you're on the clock.
Yeah.
When something like that happens, if when oxygen stops going to the brain, even as something as simple as 1 or 2 minutes can cause permanent brain damage. So, every second counts. Now that's a little, it's obviously something very important and something we can keep talking about. But I think, to lighten the mood up a bit as well, we've got the Andy 009 again with some really good insight. So he said, this transfer window, I just want Sancho, Varane, and a special CDM. I'm guessing you mean Declan Rice.
Mbappe. I mean, Kante. What a save!
Yeah,
Holy
it was a
shit.
great save. So a special CDM. So I'm guessing you mean Declan Rice, and then we will challenge for the Premier League and the Champions League. I couldn't agree more. Getting Sancho, Varane, and say a Declan Rice in, I think United would be a very good team, very hard to beat. Is it possible that Declan Rice could be used as part of like a Lingard transfer with West Ham? I hope.
I'd accept that.
Yeah, I hope not, because I mean, in my opinion, Declan Rice is worth more to West Ham than most players are to their clubs in the world. But I mean, Andy didn't say Declan Rice. I'm just throwing that name in there because he says a specialist CDM.
Yeah.
So unless you had another name for me, but yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean,
Thomas Partey.
yeah, that'd be a pretty handy transfer window for United if they were able to get Sancho, Varane, and a CDM. Yeah, so great comment again.
Even like special CDM, even like
Yeah.
someone like Casemiro, like that's a shout
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Like because Real Madrid have fallen, he'll be looking for a move. I feel anyway.
Yeah,
Can I just quickly say one thing though, based on just the last point I want to make on the Ericsson thing? If obviously, just for everyone watching too, if you feel at any time like you need someone to talk to or something, there's always websites online you can call and stuff over it. And if you feel like you want to learn CPR, I would really recommend it, because I've got it and it's handy. And yeah, mainly if you're feeling down or depressed about the situation, then just reach out to somebody. Don't bottle it up. So
spot on. Great public service announcement there. We're here for each other. That's what it's all about.
You can even call in and talk to one of us.
Yeah, come on down. But so boys, 84 minutes gone. Do France push for a winner here? What do we think is going to happen?
Well, I think if they don't win, it's unacceptable.
They've certainly
they'll
had
want to
enough of the
sort of
ball.
play. They'll want the probably to be seeded going into the knockout stage. I think they'll want to win
Yeah.
because if they
Look,
finish second in their group, that could disadvantage
I
them going into the knockout stage.
I think a draw isn't obviously the end of the world for France. I think they'll be able to lick their wounds, and if they get the 3 points in the next game, I think they'll still be able to finish top. But yeah, I tend to agree that if they don't get the win here, they've had enough of the play, enough of the ball, and enough clear-cut chances, especially in that first half. Is a draw? I mean, that would be miraculous for Hungary as well if they get out of this with a draw. So I'm not too sure. Brendan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that if France don't win this game, I can't see them beating Portugal playing like this.
Yeah, yeah,
I just don't see it. And I can see Hungary beating Germany playing like this.
yeah. No,
That's the
spot on.
interesting thing. So, like, if France don't win this game, they might not even make the knockout stage.
Jeez, we'd have a lot
Because
to
if
talk. We'd
Hungary
have a lot
beats
to talk about
Germany
then.
and Portugal beats France,
Could be
then France
Portugal.
are out.
Could be come down to goal difference.
Yeah, they'll finish third. They'll go through, obviously,
Remember,
because third
four
place
of the
goes
six
through.
third
But
place teams will go through, which is kind of a bullshit rule. But
yeah, it goes
Yeah,
off world rankings as well. So France, if they finish third, will definitely go through because they're
yeah,
ranked in
they'll
the
go.
top.
but even then,
They'll
We
third
go
haven't
place
through.
asked.
goes through.
We haven't asked John who his tip for the tournament is.
Yes, John. Who is your tip for the tournament? We've all
Oh, we're
given
watching
ours.
them now.
Oh, your
France?
tip's
We're watching France.
Hungry. That's a random tip, John.
Oh, okay. No, I just can't. I just have to back the winners. You know, they have the most complete team. That I think
What do you think about Netherlands, John?
Oh, Belgium have a good squad too.
Belgium have a good squad, but apart from, I think when it comes to France, it's just good players all around. Maybe
Belgium have
with
to
the
at least
excuse of
Final Four across
Pavard,
the world.
but I know
Yeah.
with I don't know whether Hazard's playing. I haven't watched Belgium
Yeah, he
yet
is.
play, but
Him and De Bruyne are
uh,
subs for Belgium. That's how good their squad
I know
is.
I know De Bruyne is one
Well,
of those
Hazard's 30,
classy
so
players that can
Yeah.
change a game
The other
at
thing
any
I'll add.
time.
The other thing I'll add to the Belgium conversation is they're very much like I don't know. I consider them, for those who follow Aussie rules football, they're very much like the Melbourne Football Club as far as you think they can go all right, but until they do, I just don't trust them because I
Yeah.
thought last World Cup and I thought last
tipped
Euros.
him. I tipped him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like every major tournament, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Belgium maybe, but they never, ever, ever
yeah.
seem to just be
They're a
able to
bit
take
like
that.
they're a bit like Poch era Tottenham. They've got this great team on paper that doesn't really win
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I
I
got a
just
question for everyone too, and
could this
everyone in the chat.
could this be the turning of the tide for Belgium? I don't know, but until they do, I don't trust them. And we've got Lemar coming on now. So
Everyone in the chat can
three subs we
answer this
tipped were
too.
the three subs.
If you want to put your answer in the chat, feel free to. But I'll put it to you four boys. And you've kind of elaborated on it, but you can still go ahead. And John, I know hasn't. You're the team that surprised you the most. Like I said, for me before, well, obviously Slovakia, but besides them, it's Holland. I kind of thought, I said it earlier, when Van Dijk went down for Liverpool, I thought Holland had got no chance. They were actually my favourite. When I thought Van Dijk would be playing, I actually thought Holland are going to win the comp. But when Van Dijk went down, I thought, nah, they don't really have a chance. But because of Dumfries, like I said earlier, because of Dumfries single-handedly almost, they have a chance. So.
Yeah, so who's surprised the most? So we could go around. Jules, who surprised you the most so far?
In terms of the teams in the Euros,
yeah,
probably Hungary.
Results.
Honestly, just the way they're playing now.
Yeah, they look good.
Hang on, it would either be Hungary or
Slovakia.
Czech Republic, actually.
Get off your Slovakia.
Yeah,
Slavs.
Okay, so my biggest upsets so far will be the Czech Republic or it'll be Hungary, one of the two.
Yep, yep. I like that. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Czech Republic do one. To be honest, I think they got some good players all around. Brendan, who surprised you?
I Czech Republic. I actually think they'll beat England the way they played against Scotland. I think they'll beat England, so they'll finish top of the group.
Yeah, that scares me.
Yeah, and then with that confidence, I don't know. Maybe they can just be the team that just cause upsets around the whole tournament.
Talk about really good CDMs. Thomas Souček, and John. And who surprised you?
Hungary. Honestly, I thought that they'd be getting smacked by now. To be honest, not even going to lie, but they came out strong. They scored first, which is always good for them. They have
Yeah.
the confidence in themselves. They're versing a France team that's arguably, well, close to basically the World Cup winning side of 2018,
Yeah.
and they're gonna. Well, it looks like they're gonna hold for a draw. So that's a good confidence booster going into their next game, and
So it's a monster result if they can hold on for a draw. I think
Yeah.
for me, I'm gonna go a little bit of a different angle. The two teams that have surprised me, funnily enough, I feel like Macedonia surprised me by even getting there for one, but
Mm.
but they've scored in both their games. I think that in itself, I mean, they could have easily rolled over and got smashed. Yes, that conceding goals, but I feel like they've impressive to be able to score. The other one, believe it or not, is I actually really like Ukraine. I really like the way they're playing. Funnily enough, Yarmolenko, scoring. I mean, they beat Macedonia. I thought that was a really good game. But yeah, I liked the Ukraine. I mean, they're obviously fighting. Netherlands will probably finish top of that group. They're probably fighting with Austria for second, but I've been really, really impressed with them.
Yeah. Can I just quickly read out? We missed one of Adam's comments. He said, also on the Ericsson thing about everyone learning CPR. He says, and defibs everywhere too. Yeah, they do help a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Defibs everywhere. Now we've got another one on the topic of what we've just spoken about from Andy. If France don't win this tournament, they won't have anyone but themselves to blame. They have the best squad with heaps of depth. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Andy.
I think the top 2 or 3 for deep.
The one thing that I question about France's depth is Varane and Kimpembe. Who's the other centre back in their squad? Do they have?
He's not in their squad.
Do they have anyone else? Because if Varane gets injured or if Kimpembe gets injured, Longley.
To be fair, no.
Over
To be
Kunde,
fair,
really?
No, but to be fair, boys, I looked in last
Kunde is on in their squad.
Kuode as well. Jules Kuode.
So yeah, they have good.
Wait, Kurt Zuma,
I did.
He's in the France
I
team.
looked last. What was it? World Cup. Apparently, who's their right back? The one John hates, Pavard. Apparently, he's actually a natural centre back. He's just been moved to right back for France.
Yeah.
Like he plays centre back when he plays at Bayern. So
there you go.
Cut him some slack, John.
He did play. He played there in the World Cup as well. So
they do
rocket past Argentina.
It's
Speaking of people playing out of position, this one's obviously you guys answer this too, but this one's mainly for John Beanie and Andy, who's watching, being a United fan. What do we think about Wan-Bissaka becoming a centre back next year?
I like it. Although I'd like to see him play at DM first.
Nah.
I'd like to see him play.
Boy can tackle.
One thing about France's defense, they do have Kurt Zuma as a centre back, the Chelsea player.
True.
Yeah, but Kunde's better. Kunde and Longley were better than Zuma.
I'm not saying he's Zuma. I'm saying he's a centre back they can play on the field.
He's good depth.
Yeah.
He's good depth. Yeah. But as far as Wan-Bissaka playing centre back, I don't mind it.
I think it's a good deal.
I think he should have been selected.
He can't attack to save his life.
No way, man. Over Reece James and Trent and Kyle Walker? No way.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Brendan, you can't argue with this. Wan-Bissaka is the best defensive right back in world football.
No, he's not. Did you see what Reece
shit.
James did? Did you see what Reece James did in the Champions League final? No one got by. Not even De Bruyne got by him on that side.
Mate, nobody gets past Wan-Bissaka ever. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm seeing him.
Vladimir Shufal, just quietly.
He's good. I was about to say that he's good. Yeah.
Although he did stuff up for whose goal was it? The Croatian goal. He slipped over, but yeah, no, there's some good. And I think we spoke about this actually last video that there is a lack of right back depth in the Premier League as far as talking about who's the best. Now, what's going to happen here? We've got a free kick.
Oh, somebody's hurt.
Yeah, once you get past TAA, there's not a whole lot there.
I just want to ask something too. What do you guys feel about so that guy from Czech Republic from the first watch along we did, Schmick? Where do you guys see? Do you guys see him? I could see him potentially at West Ham. You just need a striker.
Yeah, I did a few call arounds yesterday, seeing if we were watching him or not, and by all reports, David Moyes is keen on him. The question is he going to leave Leverkusen to play for West Ham? That's the big one. But come along with his checkmates in Souček and Šufal would be fantastic. Now,
it puts me on to the next point for John. While you just quickly, John, I asked the boys this the other day. Your sign, and everyone in the comments, feel free to answer. Your signing of the season, for me, it was Souček. For any team, I mean, not just for your team, but in the Premier League, your signing of the season for the Premier League. For me, it was Souček. For Brendan, it was Tuchel.
No, it wasn't. Ruben Diaz, man. Ruben Diaz has to be signing of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I tend to.
he really did have a really good season.
Yeah.
He's the best centre back in the world when he joined Man City.
For me, it's Souček based on where West Ham were when he like.
Varane should have scored that.
Oh, Varane.
That's a really big chance.
And that's the end of the game.
I don't want him at United. He can piss off.
No, that's
Yes, Galachi, get in. Yes, be stoked. You deserve it. Even though you should have had 3 points, but you went to blame for their goal. So
I'll just quickly say before we wrap this up that
celebrating the draw like it's a fucking World Cup win.
Yeah, well, it's a huge result, but I would put
for them, obviously.
I would put a caveat on Souček being the signing of the season with that he was at West Ham in January. So does he count as a signing of the season when he was already there for 6 months? But anyway, we need to talk about this because what a fantastic result for Hungary to take the World Cup. They are celebrating this like a World Cup win, and why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they? This is fantastic. This is what world football is all about. Now we don't expect them to get out of their group. But who knows? Anything's possible. They're going to come up against Germany in absolute, confidence high.
Yeah.
If they come up against Germany with the same aggressive intent that what they showed here, then I'll give them every chance. But no matter what happens, and I think this is what can't be lost in this. No matter what happens, is no one can take this point away from Hungary. They've worked their butts off. They might not get out of their group, but they got a point against the world champions, and I think that is worth celebrating. What do we think before we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Oh, for the Hungarians, everybody's like watching the team play like that.
I feel like
the Socceroos will play like that.
Yes.
I can kind of see this. Maybe I don't know. I haven't checked obviously their group or anything, but I can see even if they say go and get a nil or a boring nil or draw, or even lose 1-0 to a Timo Werner shank, I can see this sparking Hungary obviously in their search for joining a World Cup, so the World Cup qualifiers, So I reckon watch this space, watch Hungary, because that's gonna like snowball effect,
Yeah.
And while we're answering this, also think of your man of the match, and then when Faz comes back around, we'll just say our man of the match for the game.
Yeah. So well, we'll start now with our man of the matches. For me, I'm thinking about it. I think it has to be either Golaski or Griezmann for scoring the goal. I thought he was fantastic throughout the game, but Viola, who scored the Hungarian goal, would be a shout. But for me, I'm going the Hungarian goalkeeper. I think if it wasn't for him, Galuski, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have got the result. So we'll go around. Jules, your player of the match?
I already given mine as the Hungarian goalkeeper. I can't remember his name. I'll just say the goalkeeper because he played a very good game.
Yeah. Galuski. How do you say it?
Galachi. I pronounce Galachi. But
Galachi.
Yeah, you can.
So Brendan, your
Yeah, Galachi, 100%.
Yeah, Curbs.
Yeah, Galachi easily.
Yeah.
You can't think of anyone else.
And John?
Yeah, I'd probably say Galachi.
Can I just quickly say though?
Sorry.
We mentioned it at the start. The physicality that Hungary came with. They had 17 fouls, by the way, with 1 yellow card. That just shows the hunger that they had in their stomachs. And I love punning Hungary, but and the physicality that we mentioned at the very start of the game that they came out with, which which surprised France, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that was key. And I think it's key for any lower ranked team coming up against the big boys. So, a unanimous player of the match. So I'll make sure we get in contact with the Hungarian national team and let Galaski know that he's won the the Football Matters Player of the Match. And
I'm just trying to
if
see how many saves he made. I can't find how
So-
many
Oh,
saves he made.
it's at least 7 or 8.
Yeah, so we'll,
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
easily.
9.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's almost up near the double digits.
So before we wrap up, does anyone have any last minute
I was gonna put
questions,
something in
comments?
the- I was going to put something in the
Um,
chat.
Yeah.
It's the stand. Oh, she didn't. Okay, I didn't lay out properly, but it's the current standings of Hungary's group because Josh had made the point of like, will this give them confidence for a potential World Cup berth?
Yep.
They're currently second in their group in the World Cup qualifiers. They're on 7 points after 3 games. They're higher than Poland.
Yeah, so we've got England on 9 points, Hungary on
And they've
7,
got, England,
Albania 6, Poland, Andorra, and San Marino. Well, geez,
I think
I'm not.
Hungary.
San Marino. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not
Depending
too
on how
sure of what.
Poland- Depending on
Yeah,
how
sorry.
like, Poland, if depending on like if Poland underperforms, I could see Hungary maybe getting second in the group and going on to the qualifiers.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
it depends.
second round, like
I
the
guess it
playoffs,
depends
basically.
on their games coming up. So, yeah, so that's fantastic. So, unless there's any other. Yep.
Hungary, I just want to say one last thing about Hungary, and I'll let you guys just do the rest of the talking. Regardless of how like the team as a whole performs at this Euros, I think this will be a great opportunity for individual Hungary players to get sort of noticed and work their way, like maybe get signed at higher, like higher levels in football.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And we spoke about it at the start about how these types of
Like
world
like a
tournaments.
Serie A signing or something. I don't know, just
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, well, these types of.
I'll just quickly say one thing before we wrap it up. There's no other 11 o'clock games, so I'm thinking if it's everyone's okay, because obviously we know Faz has to work. I'm thinking maybe the next game we can do is the group is 2 a.m. on a Sunday. It's Group A versus Group B, second place. So
Yeah, well,
if everyone's cool with
I'll be
that,
in
so
bed. I won't
stay
be
tuned
there.
in the chat. We'll put up on the lives. Dan or one of the boys might want to do another like maybe a season review of their teams or another video. But like the next one I'll be in is definitely probably that one.
yeah, and I think what I've going to be working on and looking at is a full Premier League season review, going through each team and where we think that they'll fit. I'll be working on that. That'll be obviously a few weeks down the track, but we'll talk about that and we'll let the fans know.
Stay tuned for the we've got we have it in the works. We have a 24-hour transfer deadline show planned.
Yeah.
We are looking for more hosts as well. If anybody's keen, send a page a message or one of us a message, whoever you like.
So
obviously we need people to come on the show. We need people for the 24-hour deadline show. So feel free. Everyone.
all right, so we'll wrap it up there. So the last thing I'll say is just a big thank you to all the people who've commented. So we had Mitch, we had Birchie was very active. Thanks, Birchie. We had Andrew, 17. He was fantastic. Ethan, thank you very much. And the Andy 009. So thank you very much. Yeah, Manchester United. So thank you very much, guys. We couldn't do it without you guys, and then John being one of our first ever guests on here. We honestly we couldn't have this show without you guys. So please keep commenting, keep giving a like, and we're just going to get bigger and better. So until next time, boys, I think that'll be it. So
easy.
Adios.
Adios. Take care, guys.
So yeah, you just end the live and then
Before we go, the Hammers. All right, bye.
There you go.